let's maybe finish episode 7. If we don't finish episode 7 tonight, what I need to be percolating, what I need to be on the collective brain, and what we need to decide, I think I'm pretty much wanting to stick with the episode 8 starts on Saturday. So then we would have to pick Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday to then finish episode 7 if we don't finish tonight for whatever reason. So we're going to have to decide on that. And we'll have to figure out what the best course of action is. Well, that's fine. You'd vote either Thursday or Friday. All right. Taking into consideration. Thinking. New background dropped. Look at this. It's the lights, camera, play, action. Nailed it. Small aside. I did my like once a month or every 2 months or so phone call to my parents. That lasted almost 2 hours because I don't call home often, but when I do, we make it very long phone calls. And we were talking about things, and as parents do. Somehow we got onto this discussion slightly, just tangentially, of the streams here that I do here on this channel. And I was talking about different things or whatever. And then she's like, maybe I should start watching those. And I'm like, now, she said that in also saying, she was like, I don't know necessarily how to work that, so I would have to get one of your brothers to show me how to do it. Brother here on the channel that is the esteemed art director for the channel here. But I basically was joking around. I was like, maybe the live streams may not be your she's like, she did say something along the lines. She's like, so people can like type during those? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, do you have to? I'm like, I guess you could just lurk. But then I was like, if you really wanted to watch me spout nonsense or whatever, you would you would probably be better off. Maybe the VODs are probably more your speed, honestly. Just put me on in the background of the house and just have my voice reverberating through the house 24/7. That might be more your speed. And then B, I was like, can I interest you in an 80-part series about witches and family drama and just a whole host of nonsense? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, exactly. So here we go. We finished the episode 7 proper. I think that's fair enough to call it. Episode 7 proper. Rolled the semi-credits. And now we have the extras. Tea Party. Tea Party to those who are not human. However we're going to call these. I don't know why I just now started thinking of them as calling them like the extras. That's basically what it is. It's like back when like people bought like a ton of DVDs and everything, and you bought like the DVD for your favorite movie, or I guess maybe back in the day if you were like my family and used to use Netflix actually as like sending DVDs and getting DVDs in the mail back when Netflix first was established, and like you would watch the movie and you're like, what are the extras? It's basically the same thing. We finished the main episode and then we're like, let's go to the extras and see what like the let's see what the director's commentary is like, or the deleted scenes. It's basically what we got to do here. Like I said at the top, my ultimate goal, it would be super cool if we could start episode 8 then this Saturday. So we're either hopefully finishing tonight episode 7 extras, or If for some ungodly reason it takes longer than tonight, then we gotta pick one more day here. Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Also, I think it's maybe less likely to happen on Thursday day. But as I've said in the past, we do have, if you're an American here in the States, we do have a holiday here. Definitely Thursday. I have also off Friday. So if we were so inclined, we could even do Friday day if we need to finish. But that's just, like I said, I need that in the back of everyone's mind percolating. This is going to be a hell of a deleted scene. Best tea party of the series. Bold claim. Bold claim. Am I in for a ride here? Get me hyped. Get me pumped. Get me pumped and jacked for this. That's what I need. I need hype men. I always say, I need like I need a live audience in my apartment. It would be quite the experience to have like live audience on stream, live audience in the apartment, just faceless people that don't say a word behind me. Honestly, since I don't stream with Cam, maybe I do have a live audience. Dude, the final Umineko stream. I need to have a live audience in my apartment. I need to coordinate this. I need to hire extras. I will hire some extras. I'll turn the camera on, and it will be a big old full blowout for the final Umineko stream later this year. Get hyped. This is gonna be hype indeed. Okay. All right. If that's what you're claiming. If that's what we're claiming. I'm going to hold you guys to it. Don't say it if you don't mean it. I had in reading mode. You know, it always takes a few minutes here. Okay. We got the wind blowing. Scene. Wind blowing. When I came to, all was silent. The room was dimly lit. So, sorry, I hate to cut myself already. So what exactly happened? We didn't do our normal what happened at the end of episode 7's thing. We saw Will doing his thing, his battle against Claire, cutting through her with all the arguments, putting Beatrice to rest. That's a good way of putting it. A lot of earth to earth, illusions to illusions being said. And basically, without over-explaining, basically solving... I don't want to... Solve might be not the right word. But basically getting, explaining all of the situations in episodes 1 through 4? And then he was like, huh, you're not that bad of a witch to burn? Okay, fair. Yeah, I do remember that. And then Burn, of course. Bernie couldn't get a... obviously, definitely not surprising. She strikes me as the type of person that, even though she's a little gremlin, not one to easily accept compliments. So that is at least one thing me and Bern still have in common. And that, I guess that was basically it. Leon was like, yeah, thanks, guys. There was the final shots of, like, Leon and Kinzo. That was a thing. Yeah. Alright, cool. When I came to, all was silent. The room was dimly lit. And yet, it was massive. Where on earth is this? Where on earth am I? I was sitting on what seemed to be a very short sofa. It was very constricting and looked like there were several more of them off to each side of me. Wait, whoever this is, they're calling these, like, theater seats sofas? This person has no frame of reference for theater seats? This foreign seat-like device. Once I noticed that, I realized I was in theater. Let me adjust some audios there. Perfect. Okay. Leon says, where on earth am I? I don't know how long I've been here. And, more importantly, I don't know where this is. Beatrice's funeral ended. Everyone went back to the mansion, and after that, my memory gets fuzzy, and I can't recall anything else. Then, I was surprised to notice the presence of another person. Rattling their chains, apparently. Apparently, I wasn't the only one sitting in the audience seating of this vast theater. The sound had come from a seat to the side of mine. When I looked, I saw a girl sitting several seats off to my left. It was a face I'd never seen before. Alright, predict. Who could it be? A face Leon had not seen before. Let's go, Lambda Delta. Let's go, Aurora. Let's go, Angie. Let's go... It could be anyone. But those are the three, the three ladies that, just immediately comes to mind. Don't say Angie Burger. No. Not like this. Who is she? She looked like a high schooler or college student, about the same age as I was. Oh, it's gotta be Angie, yeah? She groaned. Apparently she had just woken up. If it's a character we're familiar with. Dude, honestly, let's give it to Umineko. Umineko probably, let's introduce another character. A new character is what I mean. Honestly, in episode 8, I hope we get, like, 1 million new characters. I would live for it. I didn't want to scare her, so I decided to introduce myself first.
Konnichiwa.
Hello. Oh, it is Angie. Our girl is back. Apparently, she was equally surprised to find someone other than herself here. She jumped when she heard my greeting.
誰？あんた。
Who the hell are you?
私も同じ気持ちです。
I feel the same way.
どうやら私たちは望まずしてここにいるらしい。
It seems that neither of us is here of our own accord.
それ、片翼の紋章？
Is that the one-winged crest?
え？
Huh?
この紋章をご存知なんですか？
Do you recognize this crest? She looked suspiciously at the one-winged crest emblazoned on my collar. Her stare, which was unmoving but not openly hostile, wasn't exactly pleasant for me.
先に私が名乗りましょう。
Allow me to introduce myself.
私は
First,
後宮リオンと申します。
I am Yishiromiya Leon.
後宮？
Yishiromiya? Huh? Is this gonna be... Oh, God, is this gonna be some freaky shit where, like... It's like Angie and Leon, like, never were supposed to cross paths, but yet they're in some weird situation where they are. And if they touch, then the fabric of space and reality is just gonna tear, and we'll get sent back to episode 1 for some reason and just have to reread everything.
何？
Nani?
リオンです。
Leon.
理科の理に、魚するの魚でリオンと読みます。
Written as that, but pronounced Leon. Not lion. Let me see. Young Angie should exist just as well on... Yeah, that's true. Oh, okay.
珍しい名前でしょ？
Pretty strange name, don't you think?
名前の珍しさなら私も負けないわ。
No stranger than mine.
でもごめんなさい。
But I'll have to apologize.
私はあんたを知らないわ。
I don't know who you are.
道理でしょうね。
That's hardly surprising,
私もあなたを知りませんから。
since I don't know you either.
そうじゃなくて。
That's not what I meant.
あんた誰？
Who are you?
後宮家にあんたなんかいないわ。
There's no one like you in the Ishimiya family.
どうしてそう決めつけられるんです？
And why are you so sure?
あなたは当家と何か関わりが？
Do you have something to do with my family?
私が後宮家の人間だからよ。
I'm a member of the Ishimiya family.
それは。
But that's... She showed me her left sleeve, and the crest of the one-winged eagle emblazoned upon it.
お言葉を返すようですが、あなたこそ誰です？
I regret having to ask the same question, but who are you?
後宮家であなたを見たことがない。
I've never seen you in the Ishimiya family.
細切れにされたり、朗読させられたり。
Oh, this is a good line. First they tear me into little bits, then they make me read.
次は何？
What's next? Damn, Angie, I feel the same way all the time.
今度はどこの魔女の余興なの？これは。
Which witch am I supposed to be entertaining this time? She spat out those words and seemed to be complaining about something.
エンジェ。
Angie.
私は後宮エンジェ。
I'm Ishiromiya Angie.
ルドルフとキリエの娘よ。
Rudolph and Kyrie's daughter.
え？
What?
エンジェちゃん？
Angie-chan.
だってエンジェちゃんはまだ6つのはず。
But you're supposed to be 6 years old.
私が6つだったのは六軒島で最後の親族会議があったあの年の話よ。
I was 6 during the year of the final family conference on Rokenjima.
なるほど。
Now I get it.
あんたが1986年の人間であることは分かったわ。
So, you're a person from the year 1986.
私は18よ。
I'm 18 years old.
そして1998年の人間。
And I'm from the year 1998.
つまり12年後の未来のエンジェちゃん。
In other words, you're the Angie-chan of 12 years in the future?
納得してもらえて嬉しいわ。
I'm glad you believe it.
でも申し訳ないことに私にあなたの心当たりがないの。
But unfortunately, I don't have a clue who you are.
あなたは誰？
Who are you?
親は？
Who are your parents?
父はクラウス。
My father is Kraus.
母は夏日です。
Natsui is my mother.
それはジェシカお姉ちゃんだわ。
That would make you Jessica Oni-chan.
ジェシカは妹です。
Jessica is my little sister. Angie's like, hold the phone.
どういうこと？
What's going on?
ジェシカお姉ちゃんは一人っ子じゃなかったの？
Wasn't Jessica Oni-chan an only child? By this point, I was starting to figure out the situation this Angie had come from. She's probably from the world where I awakened as a witch. The world where Leon doesn't exist.
説明するのは難しいですが、こう思ってください。
It will be a bit difficult to explain, but think of it this way.
あなたの知る世界と別の世界では、私も後宮家の人間なんです。
In a world slightly different from the one you know, I'm also a member of the Ishiromiya family.
あなたの世界での私は、別の運命により別の人生を歩み、後宮家の人間として生きてはいないのです。
In your world, a different fate leads me to walk a different path through life, so I do not live as an Ishiromiya family member.
あんた、魔女なの？
Are you a witch?
残念ながら普通の人間です。
Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm just an ordinary human.
今の話は、魔女のベルンカステルさんに教えられたことです。
What I just told you is something I heard from the witch called Bernkastel-san.
ベルンカステル？
Bernkastel?
あの青い長髪のネクラそうな顔した？
That one with the long blue hair and the gloomy face?
ええ、
Yes?
多分そんな容姿だったと思います。
That probably fits her, I think.
つまり、
In other words,
私はまた魔女の茶番に付き合わされてるわけね。
I've been forced to play along with another witch's farce.
ここは一体？
Just where is this place?
私もさっき目を覚ましたばかりです。
I only woke up a second ago myself.
ここはどこでしょう？
I'm wondering the same thing.
劇場に見えるわ。
It looks like a theater.
何かを感激しろってのかしら。
Are we supposed to watch a play or something?
今はそういう気分ではありませんね。
I'm really not in the mood now.
出口を探しましょう。
Let's look for an exit.
気づいてないの？
You haven't noticed yet?
これ。
Look. Oh no, are they strapped in?
え？
Huh?
これは。
These are... shit. Okay, clank. I finally noticed. Both of my wrists and ankles had chains attached to them. As long as I sat here, I had enough slack that I could move about a little. But it looked like there wouldn't be nearly enough for me to get out of this place.
いつの間に。
When did...
誰がこんなことを？
Who would do something like this?
魔女の駒に落ちたら
Once a witch has made you her piece,
永遠にあいつらのおもちゃよ。
you'll be their plaything forever.
逃げられない。
There's no way to escape. Angie crossed her legs, making the chains clank together. She realized that no amount of struggling could have broken these chains. Getting panicky wouldn't accomplish anything. She must have had nerves of steel. Leon, let me tell you, she one time got turned into minced meat. What do you mean, a witch's piece? It's like being their slave. I made a deal once. I said I wanted to see my family, to bring them back from that day. In exchange for making that a possibility, a witch turned me into a witch's piece. At least the witch kept her promise. Also, can someone fix the draft in this theater? Where's that wind coming from? I was able to see Oni-chan again. You mean Badler-kun? Well, I wasn't even able to tell him who I was. And in exchange for that short bit of time, I'm now trapped inside the witch's toy box for all eternity. Looks like you are too. Did you make some sort of contract? Nothing of the sort. Did you ever ask a witch to grant a wish for you? Never. She taught me what a miracle my existence is. That's all. Either way, neither of us is getting out of here. Okay, witches. What kind of show do you have for us this time? Have we moved from reading aloud to theater going? Am I supposed to watch someone else read aloud this time, or what? If that's it, let's start up already. I'm bored enough as it is. Angie yelled this. I didn't really yell, but Angie yelled this to the pitch black stage. Her voice reverberated throughout the theater, but no one gave an answer. What we need to bring back the soundboard. That was something I think we had for like one stream many months ago. No, someone did. And that was also in a voice that rang out across the theater. However, that voice sounded theatrical, as though someone was announcing the start of a play. What happened on that day, you ask? I'm not telling. If only you'd just give up and die. Stop laughing at me. Whose voice was that? That old hag. It was Aunt Eva's voice. What does she mean by what happened on that day? 1986 She's talking about the 4th and 5th of October in the year 1986. The day of the final family conference on Rokkenjima. In other words, today? Today is October 4th, 1986. As a prelude to the family conference, Beatrice's funeral was held. That's a surprise. So, you've come here from October 4th, 1986? Tell me, what happened during those 2 days? The answer she seeks is inside the cat box. All I can tell her about is my close call with a sad life. However, I doubt that explanation will satisfy her. Then, a pillar of bright light pierced the stage. There stood a white shadow. That white dress was obviously Claire's. Of course, Angie didn't recognize her. She looked suspicious, apparently wondering who in the world this was. However, even I felt as though something was wrong. Didn't she settle all of her regrets in that funeral a short while ago, before being sent off into the next world? She stood all alone in the narrow beam of light in the center of the stage, and the expression on her face was lifeless. The light began to grow brighter and brighter, shone more and more fiercely on her, till it became blinding just to look at her. Hey, don't make fun of pale people. The world was enveloped by a light so bright that we couldn't open our eyes, surrounded by a sound like wind or television static, and our minds began to go blank. Huh? Whoa!
今年も見事に咲いたもんや。
They're booming wonderfully again this year.
これを手入れするのは大変だろうぜ。
It must be a pain to take care of all these.
めでるだけの俺たちは楽なもんだ。
Pretty easy for us, though, just looking at them.
どうかね。
Giggle. I agree.
手入れしてくれる人たちに感謝しなくちゃ。
We've got to thank the people who take care of them for us.
でもちょっと品がないのよね。
But it is a bit lacking in grace.
兄さんが変に手を加える前の方が素敵だったわ。
I prefer the way it used to be before Nissan decided to pile so much on.
昔のも昔ので味わいがあってよかったわよね。
The old look did have its own charm, didn't it?
マリアバラ好き。
I love roses.
トゲがなければもっと好き。
I'd like them even more if they didn't have thorns. Whoa.
懐かしいな、このバラ庭園。
This rose garden really takes me back.
この6年ですっかり忘れてたぜ。
I'd totally forgotten about it these past 6 years.
もうそんなになるんだね。
Guess it really has been that long.
このバラ庭園も、そしてバトラ君も、本当に見違えたよ。
Both you and this garden have changed so much.
紹介するよ。
Let me introduce you.
使用人のカノン君。
This is Kanin-kun, one of our servants.
バトラとは初対面だよな。
This is the first time you've met Battler, right?
はじめまして。
Pleased to meet you.
俺のことはバトラって呼んでくれよな。
You can just call me Battler.
よろしく頼むぜ。
Nice to meet you.
今日はシャノンもいるぜ。
Shannon's here too today.
一緒に遊んだの覚えてる？
Remember when we used to play together?
ああ、シャノンちゃん。
Ah, Shannon-chan.
すっかり忘れてたぜ。懐かしいな。
Oh, what a terrible thing to say, Battler. I'd totally forgotten. That really takes me back.
元気にしてるかい？
How's she been doing?
この6年でますます綺麗になったよ。
She's grown more and more beautiful these past 6 years.
後で挨拶するといいよ。
You should say hi to her later on.
シャノンはジョージお兄ちゃんと仲良しなの。
Shannon and George Oni-chan are really good friends.
マリアし。
Maria,
それは内緒な。
that's a secret.
それでは皆様、そろそろゲストハウスの方へご案内いたします。
If you would, everyone, allow me to guide you to the guest house. After enjoying the lovely welcome provided by the roses, the relatives followed Goda in the direction of the guest house. October 4th, 1986, Rokenjima, in a world without Leon, on the day of the Ishimiya family conference. Maria read a mysterious letter aloud after dinner, just as she had been told to. The writer of the letter claimed to be the Golden Witch Beatrice and challenged the family. Try and solve the riddle of the epitaph. Otherwise, I'll take everything. It was Beatrice's announcement of the game's start, same as the usual games. Had an unknown person appeared related to the problem of the inheritance's distribution? Where was the 20 billion yen worth of gold hidden? What was the purpose of this letter? For what goal had it been written? Who on earth is this Beatrice? It was the usual dinner on October 4th, where several bits of suspicion and paranoia intertwined.
ジョージ君
George-kun,
申し訳ないけどみんなと一緒にゲストハウスに戻っててくれるかしら
I'm sorry, but could you go to the guest house with the others?
ごめんね
My apologies.
シャノン
Shannon,
子供たちをゲストハウスへ
take the children to the guest house.
私たちはこのまま親族会議に入ります
We'll move straight on to the family conference.
はい、
Yes,
かしこまりました。
as you wish.
黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェか。
Beatrice, the Golden Witch.
味な手紙をよこしてくれるじゃないか。
What a fascinating letter you've sent us.
碑文を解いてみろですって
She's telling us to solve the epitaph?
ふざけたこと
Ridiculous.
あの黄金は私たちのものよ
That gold belongs to us.
部外者なんかに譲ってたまるものですか
Why would we ever give it up to some outsider?
あの黄金さえ見つかりゃ俺たちは全員ハッピー
If we could just find that gold, we'd all be happy. Happy.
誰も損が
That's
ね
good line delivery. No one would have to lose anything.
行こうみんな
Let's go, everyone.
ここからは大人の話だよ
They'll be having an adult conversation from here on out.
やれやれ
Sheesh.
ややこしそうな話だぜ
Sounds like it's gonna get complicated.
ほらマリア
Come on, Maria.
行くぜ
Let's go.
ベアとの儀式が始まったね。
Beato's ceremony has begun.
それでは皆様、ゲストハウスへご案内します。
Okay, everyone. I shall guide you to the guest house.
これは何でしょう
Same, Leon. I'm like, what? Why are we rewatching this? What's all this about?
過去のゲームのいずれかの再演かさもなくば新しいゲームでしょうね
Probably a replay of one of the old games, or else an entirely new game.
どのゲームであっても10月4日はほとんど同じ展開だから
In all the games, October 4th happens in pretty much all the or pretty much all. In all the games, October 4th happens in pretty much the same way.
新しいゲーム
A new game?
これまでのかけらにない物語ということですか
You mean a tale that hasn't appeared in any of the fragments so far?
私たちを鎖で縛り付けてまで見せたものがすでに知ってるゲームなわけがない
There's no way they'd go to all the trouble of chaining us down if they just wanted to show us a game we already know.
新しいゲームだと考えるべきでしょうね
It's probably a new game.
ならばゲームマスターがいるはず
That means there should be a game master.
それは誰
Who is it?
あいつ
That witch?
ベルンカステル
Bernkastel?
私には
あ
そうとは思いません
I can't imagine so.
クレルはもう消え去ったはずなんです
Claire should have vanished already.
新しい物語を紡ぐ必要性がないはず
There should be no need to spin up a new tale.
ベアとのゲーム版なんてとっくの昔に昭和る魔女どもに乗っ取られてるわ
Beato's game board was hijacked by those evil witches long ago.
ベアとでさえあいつらのゲームの駒でしかない
Even Beato is nothing more than a piece in their games.
一体これは何のつもりで誰の仕業なんです
Just who is behind this, and what are they after?
私たちに何を見せたいんだ
What do they want to show us? Before this tale began, Claire definitely appeared on the stage. She is the teller of the tale of Beatrice's game. Beatrice, the me from World of a Different Fate. However, oh, I remember this. However, didn't she entrust everything to Will, who solved all the riddles? Should be no need for her to make new riddles. In that case, is Brink still using this tale to test me? Along with Will, I have at least touched the deepest depths of this tale and understood the culprit's heart. So, even if an entirely new tale presents itself, I should be able to see through the riddles. Is that what my role is? Is my role to teach Angie about the truth of this tale?
あなたは知っているんですか？
Do you know?
この物語の真相を。
Do you know the truth of this tale?
いくつかの仮説は考えてるわ。
I have several theories.
でもどの説にも最終的な答えは出せない。
Still, none of those can give us a conclusive answer.
真相はいつも猫箱の中。
The truth is always inside the cat box.
断定はできない。
I can't say anything for sure. In this world, Angie is absent on this day, so it's only natural that she doesn't know what happened. However, at the very least, I do know who the culprit is and what they were trying to do on this day.
やっと
I think
自分の役目が分かった気がします。
I've finally understood my role in this.
どういう意味？
What do you mean?
どうやらあなたは感激者で、私は解説者のようです。
Apparently, you're here as a theater goer, and I'm here as a commentator.
何を解説してくれるというの？
Then as a commentator, what exactly is it you're going to explain to me? For me?
私はこれから起こる事件の犯人を知っているからです。
After all, I know who's behind the crime that's about to occur.
なんですって？
What did you say? Hmm.
普通に考えれば
Thinking about it straightforwardly,
何者かが私たちに碑文を解かす横取りを狙っているようにしか思えんがね。
the only explanation I see is that someone's trying to make us solve the epitaph, hoping to then snatch the gold for themselves.
同感だ。
I agree.
先に解いたなら猫ババしちまえばいいだけの話。
If they'd already solved it, they could just take it.
わざわざ俺らに解いてみろなんて挑発するかってんだ。
There'd be no need to challenge us to solve the riddle.
使用人の誰かのいたずらだわ。
It's a prank by one of the servants.
あわよく黄金が見つかったらご祝儀におこぼれがもらえるかもしれないっていうさもしい考えに違いないわよ。
They must be hoping to pick up the scraps from the celebration if the gold is found.
当家の使用人の中にそんな人間がいるとは思えません。
I cannot imagine that one of our servants would do such a thing.
あるいは使用人のふりをして私たちの中の誰かが差し出した手紙だったりして。
Or maybe one of us sent the letter pretending to be a servant.
それを言ったら一番怪しいのはあんたでしょうが。
If that's it, you're the most suspicious one.
マリアちゃんに一芝居打たせてあの手紙を読ませたんじゃないの？
You schooled Maria Chan on her part and made her read the letter, didn't you?
私はそんなことしないわよ。
I wouldn't do that.
予算かエヴァ。
Give that a rest, Eva.
決めつけたらあかんで。
We can't jump to conclusions.
今はみんなで結託して相談し合う時やないか。
Isn't this the time for us to all stick together?
そうね。
That's right.
あの怪しげな手紙は私たちの結束を乱すのが狙いでしょうね。
The aim of this strange letter is probably to disrupt our unity.
踊らされれば踊らされるほどベアトリーチェなる差出人の思うつぼだわ。
The more we let it affect us, the more things will go to the way this Beatrice who sent it.
キリエさんの言う通りだね。
Kairi-san's right.
あのような手紙など初めから意に介さないくらいがちょうどいいのではないかね。
Wouldn't it be best to simply ignore a letter like that from the start?
私は最初からそうだと言っています。
That is what I've been saying this whole time.
こんなの取るに足らないいたずらです。
This sort of prank is not worth considering.
そうやな。全くその通りや。
Yes, that's it exactly.
おかしなクレームの1件や2件でびくついてたら商いはやってられんで。
If a couple improbable claims or damages get you flustered, you'll never be able to sell anything.
主人の言う通りだわ。
My husband's right.
こんな子供だし真面目に考えるだけ損だわ。
This is a child's prank, and taking it seriously is just a waste of time.
本当に遺産騒動に絡みたい何者かなら手紙なんて遠回しなことをせず堂々と姿を現せばいいんだし。
If someone really wanted to shake up the inheritance issue, They come forward boldly instead of using something this roundabout.
だな。
You got it right there.
俺たち以外に遺産を要求している人間がいると思わせて、おこぼれに預かりたいってやつがいるんだろうぜ。
Someone probably wants to make us think there's another person trying to make demands about the inheritance when the real goal is just to pick up the scraps.
遺産問題に口を挟まない代わりに口止め料をよこせとか言い出すのかしら。
I wonder if they'll ask for some hush money in exchange for staying out of the inheritance issue.
それを言い出すならもう手紙に書いてるはずだわ。
If that were the case, they should have written it into the letter.
手紙の内容は碑文を解いてみろ。さもなくば全てをいただく。なる挑戦状だけだ。
And the letter is just a challenge, telling us to try solving the epitaph or else hand over everything.
犯人はわしらに碑文の謎を解かせたい。
The culprit is trying to make us solve the epitaph's riddle.
それ以上でも以下でもないっちゅうことやな。
Nothing more, nothing less.
つまりよ、
So, it's simple.
こんな手紙気にしたら負けってことだぜ。
If we worry about this letter, we lose.
同感だ。
Indeed, I agree.
まるで推理小説のようなミステリアスな演出だったので、ついつい私たちも面白がってしまった。
After that big mysterious show, like something out of a mystery novel, we've all gotten a bit too wrapped up in this.
我々も余裕がないね。
It seems we're all taking this too seriously.
しかし誰がこんな手紙を。
But who did it?
腹立たしいことです。
Such an aggravating thing to do.
使用人じゃないなら私たちの中の誰かが書いたんでしょうよ。
If it wasn't a servant, then one of us must have written it.
誰とは言わないけれどね。
I'm not naming names, of course.
よしてよ。
Stop it.
本当に私は知らないの。
I really know nothing about this.
まあまあ。
Settle down.
しかし手紙の言うことも一理あるっちゅうもんや。
Anyway, what this letter says does make a bit of sense.
わしらは誰も彼も金が欲しいんや。
All of us need money.
それもできたら今すぐや。
And if possible, we need it right away. Wow, Hideyoshi literally just said it's my money and I need it now. Called J.G. Wentworth.
それに異論がある者はおらんやろ。
What a weird reference to pull out there. No one here has any objections to that, right?
そりゃそうだ。
Of course not.
金と愛はいくらあっても困らねえぜ。
Whether it's money or love, you can never have too much. Okay, Rudolph, that's quite the thing to say there by yourself, Rudolph. Quite the thing to say there, huh?
親父どもの遺産はいつ転がり込んでくるかわからない。
We don't know when Father's inheritance will come to us.
しかし、碑文の黄金は違う。
However, the gold at the epitaph is different.
見つかれば直ちに山分けだ。
If we find it, we could just split it, then and there.
ある意味
In a sense,
お父様の遺産以上に目の前にある金だわ。
it's even closer to us now than the inheritance is.
碑文の謎が解ければの話だけれどね。
Assuming we can solve the epitaph.
ここにいる皆さんも碑文の謎にはそれぞれ挑戦されたんでしょ。
Everyone here has tried solving it on their own, yes? Kyrie asked the room at large, and everyone wordlessly nodded back.
ここには出題者であるお父さんの血を引く人間が4人もいながらそれぞれがバラバラに謎に挑戦してる。
Here, we have 4 people who have inherited the blood of the one who made that riddle, and each has tried solving it on their own.
効率的ではないと思わない？
That doesn't sound very efficient, does it?
だな。
True.
俺たちはそれぞれが欲の皮を突っ張らせて単独に謎解きをしてた。
We've all been greedy and tried to go it alone.
しかしだ。
However,
黄金発見時の分配等についてはもう俺たちの中で決着がついている。
we've already reached a decision about how we'll split the gold up if it's found.
そして兄貴が次期当主であることを認めるってのも
and about acknowledging Aniki as the successor.
それを引き換えに随分とふっかけてくれたがね。
Though you demanded quite a lot in exchange.
私たちで協力して謎解きをしたらあの碑文も解けるかしら。
I wonder if we can solve that epitaph if we pool our efforts and work together.
三人よれば文殊の知恵。
Two heads are better than one.
それどころか私たちは7人もいるわ。
And here, we have 7.
お父様の遺産問題については私たちは今日おおむねで合意を得ているわ。
Today, we reached a general agreement about the inheritance problem.
余興のつもりで碑文に挑んでみるのもいいんじゃないかしら。
Why not take a shot at the epitaph for a bit of fun on the side?
せやな。
Nice idea.
一服のつもりでちょいとやってみるのもええんとちゃうか。
Let's give it a try and call it a break.
バカバカしい。
Ridiculous.
隠し黄金などと。
Of course there's no hidden gold.
まあまあ
Take it easy.
余興だと思ってよ。
Just think of it as a game.
ゴーダさんに冷たいもんでも持ってきてもらおうぜ。
Let's have Goda-san bring us something cool to drink.
一服しながらたまには兄弟水入らずで謎解きごっこをしてみようじゃねえか。
We can take a break and all play with riddles as a big, happy bunch of siblings for once. Oh, how naive.
どうせ夜は長い。
Well, the night is long.
親父殿の寿命についてくだらない詮索をするよりよっぽど建設的だと思えるね。
It would at least be more productive than pointless inquiries into father's health.
ゴーダさんに電話するわ。
I'll ring up Goda-san.
何か持ってきてもらいましょうよ。
He can bring us something.
お茶とお菓子と
Let's have tea and sweets.
あと台湾の地図でも持ってこさせる。
Oh, and a map of Taiwan. Get that map. Two shadows could be seen in the rose garden arbor. It was George and Shannon's secret meeting.
この指輪を受け取ってほしい。
I want you to take this ring.
ジョージ様。
George-sama,
君を生涯愛することを誓う。
I swear to love you all my life.
若い今だけじゃない。
Not just now, while we're young.
おいてお墓に入るまでの全てを愛し、君を幸せにすることを誓うよ。
I swear to love you and keep you happy until we get old and go to our graves.
その言葉に嘘偽りはありませんか？
And are there any lies or exaggerations in your words?
ああ、ないね。
No, not one.
僕には君を愛し幸せな家庭を作る絶対の覚悟と自信がある。
I'm confident in my resolve to love you and build a happy household together with you.
その幸せな家庭とはどんなものですか？
And what would this happy household be like? Well,
それはとても幸せな家庭だよ。
it will be full of happiness.
車と庭付きの家、
We'll have a house with a car and a yard,
そして
a yard,
飼い犬が1匹。
and one dog.
庭には家庭菜園。
The yard will have a vegetable garden.
子供たちが駆け回り、僕たちはバルコニーから微笑ましそうに見下ろすんだ。
The kids will run around and we'll smile down on them from the balcony.
それが僕たちの未来の日曜日の当たり前の光景だよ。
That's what our typical future Sunday will look like.
それは素敵な光景ですね。
That would be wonderful. What?
あの二人付き合ってるのかよ。
Those two are going out?
声が大きいって。
Why are you so damn loud?
マリアが起きちゃうだろ。
Maria will wake up.
そうか。
I see.
そうだったか。
So that's how it is.
言われてみれば、なんとなく
今日もあの二人いい雰囲気だったしな。
Now that you mention it, they seem to have a pretty good mood going on there.
そうだよな。俺たちももう恋をする年頃だもんな。
That's right. We're about the age where you fall in love.
この6年で私たちは随分変わったぜ。
We've changed a lot in the last 6 years.
ジョージ兄さんも昔は頼りない感じだったけど今は違う。
George Nissan used to be a bit unreliable, but he isn't anymore.
それは思ったぜ。
That's what I thought.
ジョージの兄貴、随分と貫禄が出てたもんな。
George and Iki's got that air of dignity thing going. But still, Shannon and George and Iki. That's a bit unexpected. They played together often enough 6 years ago, but I didn't think they were that close.
なるほどな。6年だもんな。
Well, 6 years is a long time.
この6年は誰にとっても大きいぜ。
These 6 years have been huge for all of us.
だな。
Yep.
俺もこの6年、いろいろあって、正直六軒島のことはほとんど忘れてた。
Oh no. A lot's happened to me these 6 years, and to be honest, I've forgotten almost everything about Rokenjima.
まあ私もバトラーのことほとんど忘れかけてたけどな。
And I'd forgotten almost everything about you too.
そりゃひでえぜ。
Now that really hurts. Talking together like this felt as though we'd been teleported 6 years into the past. 6 long years, so long that I forgot almost everything. And yet, it's coming back to me, bit by bit. Shen-chan. 6 years ago, you were part of our group. We played together a lot, didn't we? Back then, I think I might have liked Shen-chan. That was the age when we were all overly self-conscious, in love with love. Doink. Bittersweet memories of jokes involving melodramatic, flippant words.
懐かしいぜ。
That takes me back.
今だったらとても言えねえような恥ずかしいことをいっぱい言っちまったような。
I think I remember saying all kinds of stuff that'd be way too embarrassed to say now.
思い出しただけで赤面しちまうぜ。
Just remembering it is making my face go red.
シャノンはそそっかしいけど記憶力はいいからな。
Shannon might be a scatterbrain, but her memory's incredible.
後でこっそり昔のバトラーの恥ずかしい黒歴史を聞いちゃおうっと。
Guess I'll just have to ask her all about your dark, embarrassing history.
よせやい。
Quit it.
6年経ってるぜ。さすがに時効だろ。
That was 6 years ago. The statute of limitations has got to be up. I see. So, Shan-chan is going out with George and Iki. What am I thinking? Could this be jealousy? I didn't really think about it until now, but that thing Shan-chan and I had back then was probably my first love. Well, it's not like I have any right to be jealous after forgetting the whole thing until we met again.
Oyajiの故郷が台湾大正町であることは誰もが知る事実だ。
Everyone knows that Dad's hometown was Taisho in Taiwan.
親父殿は今も時折台湾を懐かしんで槟榔を噛んでいるよ。
He still chews Eureka nuts from time to time in memory of that place.
若い日にタバコの代わりに覚えたらしい。
Apparently, he got hooked on that instead of smoking when he was young.
でも鮎が泳ぐ川なんていくらでもあったと思うわ。
But there must be several rivers there with sweet fish swimming in them.
鮎釣りの有名な渓流などいくらでもある。
It has several mountain streams that are famous sweet fish fishing spots.
鮎なんて水さえきれいならどこにだって住んでたでしょうよ。
Anyway, you could probably find sweet fish living anywhere the water was clean.
お手上げだわ。
We're completely stuck.
お父さんが子供の頃に遊んだ近所の小川かなんかとちゃうか。
Maybe it was just some nearby creek father played in as a kid.
あゆっちゅうとるが案外船程度のことかもしれんで。
He said sweet fish, but maybe we're looking for something more like carp.
あるいは 何かの比喩かもしれないわ。
Or it could be some sort of metaphor.
川が水の流れる川とは限らないかも。
The river isn't necessarily a river with water flowing through it.
水の流れない川とは？
What do you mean by that?
さあね。
Well, now.
何のことや
Who knows?
キリエが言うのも一理ある。
Kyrie has a point there.
故郷を台湾と決めつけるのも、鮎の川が水の流れる川と決めつけるのも、
Isn't it a bit
何
too...
かも早計ってわけか。
Isn't it a bit too early to be sure that Taiwan is his homeland? Or that the Sweetfish River is a river with water flowing down it?
そう言われちゃお手上げやで。
If we look at it that way, we're just stuck again.
こら考えれば考えるほどに難解な謎謎や。
The more you think about this riddle, the harder it gets.
そうよ。
That's it.
これはきっと謎謎なのよ。
This is just a riddle.
キリエさんの言う通りだわ。
Kyrie-san is right.
頭を柔らかくして考えるべきなのよ。
We need to be flexible in our thinking.
大正町に近い川っていうと淡水河かしら。
If we're looking for a river near Taisho, that would have to be Danshu River.
あんた、話聞いてるの？
Perfect pronunciation. Are you even listening?
水の流れる川とは限らないって話をしてんでしょうが。
We just said that it might not be the kind of river with water flowing down it.
その川が鮎の川だって保証はあるの？
Is there any proof that the river is a Sweetfish River?
そうよね。ごめんなさい。
You're right. I'm sorry.
まあ多分鮎も泳いでたろうぜ。
Well, it probably did have sweetfish in it.
何しろ淡水の川だったんだ。
After all, Danshui does mean freshwater.
淡水魚の鮎が泳いでても不思議はねえだろうぜ。
Makes sense that a freshwater fish like sweetfish would be swimming in it.
鮎は淡水魚。
Sweetfish are freshwater fish.
鮎の川で淡水の川。
So a sweetfish river would be a freshwater fish, or a freshwater river.
それで淡水河か
Is that how we get Danshui River?
ね。言葉遊びだな。
Quite the word game.
面白い説じゃない。
Now that's an interesting theory.
もう少し推理を進めてみましょう。
Let's advance our reasoning a bit further.
川を下れば里あり。
As you travel down the river, you'll see a village.
淡水河の河口には何て町があるの？
What's the name of the town at the mouth of Danshui River?
淡水と書いてあります。
It says Danshui here.
淡水は観光で行ったわ。
I went sightseeing in Danshui.
落ち着いた港町よ。
Danshui. It was a calm and gentle harbor town.
夕焼けが綺麗だったわ。
Beautiful sunsets.
その里にて二人が口にした岸ってのはあったか。
Did you find the shore of the two who will tell you of?
さあね。
Not really.
心当たりなんてないわ。
It doesn't ring any bells.
やっぱり懐かしき故郷というのは台湾のことじゃないのよ。
I guess the beloved hometown wasn't in Taiwan.
やっぱり小田原なのかもしれないわ。
It might have been Odawara after all.
すべての可能性を否定するべきではないとすると、
If we
や
can't
はりこれはお手上げだね。
if we can't discount any possibilities, then we won't get anywhere.
私たちには碑文の一行目からすら話がまともに進みやしない。
We can't even get past the first line of the epitaph.
静かにして気が散る。
Quiet, you're distracting me.
絶対に台湾よ。
It has to be Taiwan.
お父様が台湾以外を懐かしいと形容するわけがない。
Father wouldn't describe any other place as beloved.
それについてだけは私も同感です。
That is one thing we can agree upon.
お父様にとって今でも台湾は心のふるさとなのですから。
To this very day, Taiwan is the homeland of Father's heart.
一行目ばかりに固執するのも良くないわよね。
It's probably best if we don't spend too much time on the first line.
私は他の行について検討してみるわ。
I'm going to take a look at the others.
第一のバンカラをちょっと見てみることにする。
Just a quick peek, starting at the first twilight.
俺もそうするぜ。
Me too.
鮎の皮は姉貴に任せて、その先を検討してみよう。
I'll leave the Sweetfish River to you, Aneki, and have a go at the second half.
第一の晩に鍵の選び師6人を生贄に捧げよ。
On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices.
ミステリアスね。
How mysterious. How mysterious indeed, Kyrie.
わかった。
I've got it! Eva suddenly muttered. All the others spun around to look at her. Eva was flipping through the pages about Taiwan with incredible force, then found the page she was looking for and slammed the book open so hard that it almost tore. This whole time, the book had been open to the page with place names. As far as the overall mass of information went, this seemed the most useful page to start from. However, page Eva opened to was very limited in the scope of its information. It was a map of railway lines.
川を下れば里。
As you travel down the river, there's a village. A village!
里だわ、あった。
There it is! The village!
何の話だね、エヴァ。
What are you talking about, Eva?
説明したまえ。
Explain yourself.
静かにして。
Quiet!
岸もある、口もある。
There's a shore too and a mouth.
二人が口にするというのはわからないけど、でも里も岸も口もある。
I'm not sure what it means by the two, but there definitely is a village and a shore and a mouth.
ここよ。絶対にこれが黄金の鍵の眠る里よ。
This has to be it. This is definitely the village where the key to the gold sleeps.
落ち着くんや。
Calm down.
どういうことか、わしらにも分かるように説明してや。
Explain it so we can understand too.
淡水線？
The Danshu line?
なるほど。
The D word line? I see.
鮎の川というのは淡水線という名の鉄道のことだと。
So, the Sweetfish River was actually a railroad called the Danshu line.
鮎は泳いでいないと思いますが。
Well, I doubt there are any sweetfish swimming there.
見て。
Look!
淡水線を下り方向に進んでいくと、旧名がキリガンって駅がある。
If we follow the Danshu line down, there's a station that used to be known as Kirigan.
ほら、漢字をよく見て。
Look at the characters it's written in.
里がある、口がある、岸がある。
There's a village, a mouth, and a shore.
ほんまや。
She's right!
里がある、口もある、岸もあるで。
There's a village, a mouth, and shore.
川を下ればやがて里あり。
As you travel down the river, you'll see a village.
確かに淡水線の駅名の中で里がつくのはその駅だけだな。
True, it's the only station on the Danshu line that has a character for village in its name.
なるほど。その駅名を暗示しているようにも見えるね。
I see. It's like a code pointing toward the station's name.
絶対にこれよ、間違いないわ。
This has to be it. There's no doubt.
調べればいいのよ。二人が口にしの意味もきっとわかる。
We just need to look a bit further and we'll definitely find out what the two who speak means.
見て。
Look!
これ。
This is it! This is it!
地名のキリガンのリは口辺に里だわ。
The region around the station has the same name except with a mouth in the second character.
ということは、キリガンは口辺が2つ。
That makes a total of 2 mouths in Kirigan.
すなわち、2人が口にし。
Are those the two who speak?
すごいわ姉さん。
Incredible, Nissan.
これよ、間違いなくこれだわ。
This has to be it.
このキリガンという町のどこかに鍵が隠されているということでしょうか。
Does this mean that the key is hidden somewhere in this town of Kirigan?
どうかしら。
I wonder.
ここまでの謎は言葉遊び。
The whole riddle so far has been a word game.
だとしたら、眠る鍵もまた言葉遊びの可能性が高いんじゃないかしら。
If so, isn't it likely that Sleeping Key is also a word game?
同感だわ。
I agree.
第一の番に鍵は6人の生贄を選ぶのよ。
On the first Twilight, the key selects 6 sacrifices, right?
つまり本当に鍵状の形をした何かとは考えがたいということだわ。
So, it's hard to imagine that it's actually something key-shaped. Ooh!
面白くなってきやがったぜ。
This is getting damn interesting.
鍵の選びし6人を生贄に捧げよう。
Offer up the 6 chosen by the key.
これから連想できる鍵を考えるの。
Let's think of a key that's somehow related to this.
そしてそれでキリガンという地名を噛み砕くのよ。
And let's break down this name, Kirigan.
私にはわかるわ。これはきっと言葉遊び。
I'm absolutely sure that this is a word game.
絶対に言葉遊びよ。
It has to be.
考えてみんな。
Think, everyone. Think.
面白いものだね。
That's interesting.
一人なら気のめいるような雨でも、君と一緒なら涼しくて気持ちがよく感じるよ。
Though this rain would get me down if I were alone, it feels nice and cool when you're by my side. Oh, that's some smooth.
そろそろ戻
So
りましょう。
smooth, George. It's about time for us to head back.
カノン君を待たせてますので。
I'm keeping Ken-kun waiting.
そうだね。
You're right.
僕もジェシカちゃんやバトラ君たちをだいぶ待たせちゃってるかな。
And I've probably kept Jessica-chan and Balor-kun waiting.
懐かしいですね。
It brings back good memories.
お嬢様にジョージ様、バトラ様に私で4人で遊んでいた頃もあったんですよね。
Remember when the 4 of us used to play together?
あの頃も楽しかったですね。
It was a lot of fun back then, too.
僕は今の方が楽しいよ。
To me, it's a lot more fun now.
君を独り占めできるからね。
Because I get you all to myself. Giggle.
ジョージ様ったら
Oh, George-sama. They laughed at George's melodramatic line. However, George's laugh seemed just slightly forced.
ジョージ様
George-sama.
ああ、ごめん。
Oh, I'm sorry.
僕はね、
Well,
未だにバトラ君にコンプレックスがあるんだよ。
I guess I still have a bit of an inferiority complex when it comes to Balor-kun.
コンプレックスですか？
An inferiority complex?
彼は
Damn.
ルドルフおじさんに似て快活だし面白いし、何よりも元気だし。
Like Uncle Rudolph, he's lively, interesting, and just full of energy.
僕なんかよりよっぽど魅力的だ。
He's much more attractive than I am. Alright, let's not be so hard on yourself, George. Come on now. No one likes a sad sack. And take it from me, an actual sad sack. No one likes a sad sack. Come on. Come on, George.
彼と僕が並
Pick
ぶ
it up.
と
Pick it up.
自分が霞むのがよくわかるんだ。
I can tell how much he outshines me when you're together.
そんなことはありません。
I disagree. Look at Cannon. True. True. That's not true.
ジョージ様は立派ですし魅力的です。
You're very accomplished and attractive.
バトラ様に何も劣るところなどありません。
You aren't worse than Badler-sama in any way.
本当に？
Really?
ええ、
Yes.
本当にです。
Really.
実はね、
The truth is,
今年バトラ君が戻ってくると聞いて、僕は最初嫌な気持ちだったんだよ。
when I first heard that Badler-kun would be coming back this year, I wasn't happy about it.
どうしてですか？
Why not?
6年前、
6 years ago,
君と本当に仲が良かったのはバトラ君だった。
Badler-kun was the one who was really close to you.
僕は君ともっと仲良くなりたいと思っていたけれど、 全く間に割り込むことなんてできなかった。
I wanted to get closer to you, but I just couldn't manage to get between the two of you.
指をくわえて見ているほかないくらいお似合いの二人に見えたよ。
You two just looked so good together that I could do nothing but watch on longingly.
そうだったでしょうか。
Is that how it was?
お似合いの二人どころか、私が一方的にバトラ様にからかわれてただけで。
Wasn't it just Battlesoma making fun of me one-sidedly?
最高にお似合いの二人だったよ。
Of course you looked incredibly good together.
間違いなくね。
There's no doubt about that.
君たちは付き合っているに違いないと信じてた。
I was sure that you two were going out.
そんなことはありませんでしたよ。
That never happened.
ジョージ様の考えすぎです。
You're overthinking it.
僕は本当にみっともないね。
I really am pathetic.
今日君に指輪を渡すとき断られるかもしれないと怯えた。
I was afraid that when I handed you this ring today, you'd refuse.
どうしてですか？
Why is that?
私がジョージさんの指輪をどうして拒むと？
Why should I refuse your ring, George-san?
バトラ君が帰ってきたからさ。
Because Battle-kun came back.
君は本当は今でもバトラ君のことが好きで。
I was afraid that you might like Battle-kun even now.
彼が帰ってきた今、僕は用済みなんじゃないかなって怯えたんだ。
And that now that he's here, you wouldn't have any use for me.
ジョージさん、
George-san,
これをご覧ください。
please look at this.
私の薬指に輝くこの銀色の輝きです。
You see this silver glint on my ring finger?
これは何ですか？
What do you think that is?
そうだよね。
You're right.
ごめん。
Sorry.
僕は何を動揺しているんだろうね。
What's got me so shaken, I wonder?
6年ぶりの再会でさらにかっこよくなった彼にまた嫉妬していたんだろうね。
I'm probably still jealous of him, now that he's gotten even cooler these past 6 years.
情けないよ。
How pathetic.
いいんです。
No, it's okay.
その気持ちはすなわち私を誰にも渡したくないというジョージさんの強い気持ちの表れなんですから。
Those feelings are a sign that your love for me is so strong you don't want to give me up to anyone.
もし私の気持ちがバトラ様に移るのではないかと怯えるなら、
If you're worried about my feelings switching to Battler-sama,
そんなことを絶対に思わせないくらいに強く愛してください。
just love me all the stronger, so that such a thing would be unthinkable.
私があなた以外の男性のことを考える暇なんかないくらいに
Love me,
愛してください。
love me so much that I don't have time to think about other men.
私だって怖いんです。
I'm scared too.
私より魅力的な女性なんてこれからもいくらでも現れるでしょう。
I'm sure you'll meet many women in the future who are much more attractive than me.
あるいは至らぬ私に愛想を尽かすこともあるかもしれない。
Or you might tire of me when I don't match up to your expectations.
生涯あなたの気持ちを私だけにつなぎ止めていられるか怖いんです。
It scares me to think that I might not be able to grasp hold of your feelings for the rest of my life.
それを君が怯える必要はないよ。
There's no need for you to be scared of that.
僕は君を生涯愛し抜くことを誓う。
I swear to love you all my life.
私もそれを誓ったのにバトラ様が帰ってきたら信じてくれなくなりましたね。
But even though I swore the same thing, you're having trouble believing it just because Battler-sama came back. As Shannon giggled, George finally realized his own lack of confidence had hurt her.
私は後宮ジョージさんという素敵な方を射止めました。
I've fallen for a wonderful man named Umineko George-san.
そして生涯私を愛すると誓わせ それを誓う指輪をこうして贈らせました。
And this is a man who has sworn to love me all of his life, and who has given me a ring as a sign of this oath.
その指輪をこうして薬指に通した上で正直に告白します。
With this ring here on my ring finger, I can give an honest confession. Sure.
私は確かにおっしゃる通り、
Yes, as you said.
6年前バトラ様のことが好きでした。
I did like Battlers almost 6 years ago.
多分ジョージさんより好きだったと思います。
I think I probably liked him more than you. Oh, God. Oh, no. There goes George's heart onto the ground.
でも
However,
それは6年前の話です。
that was 6 years ago.
今の話ではありません。
Now, things are different.
バトラ様へのその気持ちはこの6年間で整理され、思い出と一緒に過去へ決別したのです。
In these 6 years, I've sorted out my feelings for Battler Sama, cut myself off from them along with the memories of the past.
今の私はあなたを愛するためだけに存在します。
Now, I exist only to love you. Shen spoke clearly and strongly. George gave a single uncertain laugh. It was probably the same sort of laugh that the George 6 years ago had made. Then, he stretched resolutely and hugged Shannon without saying a word. In that moment, he said goodbye to the person he had been 6 years ago. Here they go. We're solving that riddle. Bam, 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 bam.
橋を持ってきたで。
I've got the ladder.
ほいっさ、ほいっさ。
Here we go.
クワドリリオ
Quadrillion.
この島で船長と刻まれてるのはあれだけよ。
This is the only place you'll find that number written on this island.
K の10分の1で船長とはね。
1/10 of 10 quadrillion.
眉唾だわ。
How suspicious.
私たちの想像が正しければ、きっとあのレリーフの文字が仕掛けなんだわ。
If our idea is right, there should be some sort of device embedded in that relief.
確かめればわかる話だ。
We just need to check.
誰が上がる？
Who's going up?
俺が上がろう。
I'll go.
抑えててくれ。
Hold that ladder down, okay?
気をつけて。
Be careful.
結構高いですよ。
It is fairly high up. Rudolph climbed up the propped-up ladder, step by step as the rain poured down on him.
Q の文字を見てみて。
Look at the Q!
どう？
See anything?
何か仕掛けがありそう？
Some sort of device?
ちょいとガタつくな。
Ladder's a bit shaky.
やべ。
Oh boy.
どうしたの？
What is it?
何があったの？
Did something happen?
ビンゴみてえだぜ。
Bingo.
見ろよこいつを。
Take a look at this. Rudolph tossed the cue down. It hit Kraus on the shoulder and landed in a puddle.
これ鍵だわ。
This is like one of those jokes, like how many Ishinomiyas does it take to solve the little riddle? How many Ishinomiyas does it take to remove the keys from the quadrillion? I can think of someone who didn't have a couple people to prop up a ladder. Eva solved it alone in quotation marks in episode 3. This is the key.
どういうこっちゃ？
What does it mean?
ルドルフ君。
Rudolph kun,
これまさか他の文字も抜けるんか？
don't tell me you can take out the leather letters too.
ああ、そうみてえだ。
Yeah, looks like it.
どうやら俺たちのとんでも推理は外れていなかったらしいな。
Guess our crazy theories weren't far off after all.
次に抜く文字は何だ？
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. No, you're right. You're so right. What's the next letter to take out?
I です。
I.
それから L。
And then L. It is a little funny that we have to rewatch this whole sequence again with them finding out the thing, though. A little strange in my eyes as of right now. Following her instructions, Rudolph removed the 6 letters of the first Twilight. Now that they'd gotten this far, nothing stood in the way of them solving the riddle. By trial and error, they finally reached the final stage. Oh, it's Lord Yu!
頭からえぐれというのは
Wow!
左から順にという意味に違いない
It says to gouge starting from the head, which must mean going from right to left.
ルドルフさん、
Rudolph-san!
左から順に鍵を回してから抜くの。
Starting from the left, turn the keys before taking them out.
おうよ。
Got it! Got it. Now, we've massacred all the letters.
第9の番に誰も生き残れないってわけだ。
We reached the 9th Twilight, and none are left alive.
どう？
So,
何か起こった？
did something happen?
何かの手応えはあったが変化なしだ。
It felt like something clicked, but nothing changed.
どっかで隠し扉でも開いたのかもな。
Did a hidden door open up somewhere?
おい、
Hey!
あれを見てみ。
Look at that!
動いたで。確かに動いた。
It moved! I'm sure it did.
みんな見て。
Everyone, look!
ライオンの像の向きが変わってるわ。
A lion statue facing the other way.
どういうことでしょう？
What is going on?
ライオンの像に何か秘密が？
Is there some secret inside the lion statue?
違うな
That's not it.
これはおそらくライオンの向いた方向を見よという意味だ
It's probably telling us to look where the lion's pointing.
見たまえ
See?
あのライオンの見る先を
Look that way.
あそこのライオンの向きも変わってるわ。
That line's facing a different way too.
どういうこと？
What does it mean?
バカ、あれは誘導してるのよ。
It's guiding us, stupid.
ライオンの向く方へ行けという意味だわ。
We have to go in the direction the lion's face. Hey, Natsui's trying her best, alright? Ava dashed forward. The others all chased after her. The gold is right in front of them. It's right in front of them.
驚いたね
Now this is a surprise.
こんな秘密の階段があったとは
Who would have thought that a hidden stairway like this existed?
納得だわ。
It makes sense now.
お父様が誰も礼拝堂に近づけたがらないはずよ。
Father didn't like people going near the chapel.
この仕掛けは一体いつからあったのかしら。
I wonder how long that device has been there.
地下道の感じからして相当の昔からだわ。
Judging by the feel of this underground passage, probably for quite a long time.
おそらくお屋敷を作った時とほぼ同時でしょうね。
I imagine it was built at nearly the same time as the mansion itself.
多分、碑文の謎も何十年も前から用意されていたのよ。
The riddle of the epitaph was probably also planned many decades ago.
まあ、あの親父だから。
Well, this is Dad we're talking about.
大抵のことには驚かねえつもりだったが。
I try not to let the things he does surprise me, but this...
一体この階段どこまで続くのでしょう？
Just how far does the staircase go?
こら、あの噂は本当かもしれんで。
Hey, maybe that old rumor was true.
ほら、森の中のどこかに愛人を囲ってる隠し屋敷があるっちゅう話や。
You know, the story about him having a mistress in a hidden mansion somewhere in the forest?
なるほど。
I see.
この地下通路がそこまで続いている可能性は高いな。
It's likely that this underground passage goes all the way there.
あの日のあのお屋敷にまでつながってるのかしら。
I wonder if it connects to the mansion from that day.
どうやらゴールみたいよ。
I think we found the goal.
武骨な扉があるわ。
Look at that filthy door.
何か書いてある。
Something's written on it.
Woo!
Woo!
こりゃビンゴだな。
Bingo. Something is written on the door in red paint. On the 10th twilight at journey's end, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures once and for the last time.
開く？
Does it open?
開くわ。
It does.
いい？
Ready?
開けるわよ。
Going to open it.
いよいよ黄金とご対面かね。
So, we finally reached the gold.
そんなうまい話。ぜひ会ってくれと祈るばかりや。
We can only hope that such a sweet deal is really true.
姉さん、開けましょう。
Let's open it, Nissan. Right.
開けるわよ。
I'm opening it. Question in chat. Out of curiosity, who do I think is the most ruthless? Most ruthless out of all the adults? Out of all the adults, ruthless. Ruthless is pretty vague. What do you mean by ruthless? I mean, I feel like I could go. I mean, ruthless. I mean, for some reason in my head I keep going, well, technically the worst parent might be Rosa, but that's not really ruthlessness. That's just shitty parenting. That's just like you're just an abusive parent kind of. And then there's like ruthlessness towards each other, and then there's ruthlessness to like their own kids. I mean, is that like a thing? Are we just saying like conniving? Who's the most mean-spirited? Definitely Eva. Eva likes to be like mean and conniving and doesn't sugarcoat her meanness, right? So like at least in my eyes, like Eva knows she's bad, acts bad, doesn't try to hide the fact that she's bad, and also just does not seem to care, I would say. So unless I had to think about it deeper, I'd probably say Eva. She definitely is like what would they say? She's that bad bitch and she knows it, you know? She knows. That's my opinion on it. So I guess just with ruthless being quite a wide vague term, I would say Eva. The heavy door opened slowly. Then the gold-filled underground VIP room showed itself. Most willing to do anything for their goals? I mean, we saw a whole stretch of like Natsuhi doing her thing and just living a big lie, trying to do like the thing for her and Kraus. But like, I know it's all a matter of perspective and how you kind of like watch a thing and how it's kind of like painted and told. But like, at least she was trying to pull the wool over a ton of people's eyes, but like it wasn't done necessarily in an evil way. Although you could make the argument that by lying to a group of people like that constantly and doing whatever you can to cover up those lies is in itself inherently evil. I don't know. Also, this is probably like gendered bias or something, but all of the dude adults in this story all seem more incompetent than ruthless. Like, I gotta be 100% honest, it's the women in this family that are way, especially if we're not talking about, like, whatever Kinzo at different times. But honestly, Kinzo probably wouldn't even match up. Like, Ruthless definitely falls in the, like, on the women's side with Rosa, Eva, Natsui. They clear the guys by miles. They only had an instant to admire its splendid furnishings. Kairi? Oh, see, this is my Kairi bias though, showing through. Like, Kairi, also, probably really fucking bad, all things considered. But, I love her. So, I don't want to assign, like, the term ruthless to her. Because that's quite, it's kind of negative, you know? Not my girl. Not my girl, Kairi. They only had an instant to admire its splendid furnishings. As soon as the mountain of gold next to the canopy bed came into sight, they all froze, stunned. After a second, the stunned silence faded and was replaced by cries of astonishment and wild joy. Yeah, to the best of my ability, I tried. Incredible! I can't believe it. It's 20 billion yen in gold. It really does exist. What a shining mountain. It almost blinds the eyes. We did it! We did it! We win this game! You mustn't touch it without permission. This is father's gold. Oh, really? Oh, then why don't you call father down here now? Right away. Damn, the time for your farce is over and done with. Natsui-san. Let's put an end to the obvious lies, shall we? We have a real mountain of gold right here. Shouldn't we all be honest with each other? Fortunately, we're all in a good mood and feeling very gracious now. Just give it up already. A pile of gold this massive carries magical power within it. That power draws out the most honest feelings within people. The light of the chandelier glinted off the golden mountain, lighting them up with its golden sparkle. It was as though the sparkle controlled everyone present. For some time, they forgot their age, and howled and laughed, running around and rolling around like a bunch of excited kindergartners at a park. Ga, boom, boom, ga, boom, ga, boom, boom, ga, boom, ga. I've always had to hold back and want to do that. What is all this? What is it? What it's supposed to mean? What's it supposed to mean? Before the crimes, the epitaph has been solved by all the siblings together. That hasn't happened in any of the games before now. Supposedly, Beatrice decided not to commit the crime if the epitaph was solved. Yeah, supposedly. We'll see about that. Angie snorted, but I believed. This is what Claire decided. Because she entrusted everything to the roulette of fate, she'll obey the result. She let the roulette decide her own fate specifically because they couldn't decide on their own. So, she'll do what it says. She'll follow her own rule. She'll definitely keep her promise.
起こらないはずです。
I don't think
事件は
the crime will occur.
断言できるの？
Are you sure about that?
はい。
Yes.
もう彼女のルーレットは決まったのです。
Her roulette has already made its decision.
これで彼女のゲームは終了です。
This is the end of her game.
終了ならどうなるっての？
If it's the end, what happens next?
めでたくみんなで大金持ちになって無事に親族会議はおしまい？
Do they all become happy rich people and leave the family conference unharmed?
私の家族は中身がチョコレートじゃないインゴットをお土産に私のところへ帰ってきてくれるというの？
Does my family get an ingot that isn't chocolate as a parting gift before coming back to me?
これで全てがハッピーエンドだと？
Will it be a happy end for everyone?
あの魔女どもがそんな甘い夢を鎖につなぎながら見せてくれるわけ？
You think those witches would chain us to chairs to show us a naive dream like that? When she showed off the chain on her wrist with a clink, I was unable to counter her with confidence. But I want to believe. Though this might be the least exciting ending, Claire's game has now reached an end. Perhaps, just once at the end, she wanted to show us a world where no crime occurs. Now that she has disappeared with no regrets, is she leaving us a parting gift in the form of a game where no crime takes place? In a sense, the most peaceful sort of game? I want to believe. If only these heavy cold chains weren't holding us in place in this theater. Is someone there? Rosa's shrill cry brought the celebrating to an immediate stop. Rosa knew she'd seen it. The curtain against the wall had fluttered, and a shadow had been there behind it. Come on, don't do that. You're just imagining things.
誰かいるの？
Is someone there?
いるなら出てらっしゃい。
If you are, come out. When Eva yelled, the curtain shook. And then, a witch wearing a black dress appeared from the other side. In an instant, everyone realized that the dress was the same as the one worn by the witch of the portrait. And they realized one more thing. This person was the owner of this room.
ようこそ黄金の部屋へ。
Welcome to the room of the gold. Her face and her voice were expressionless, blank. The others all looked at each other, wondering who should respond. Rudolph was the first to speak.
つまりあんたがベアトリーチェってわけか？
So, you are Beatrice?
いかにも。
Indeed.
マリーに手紙を渡したのはあなたなの？
And you're the one who gave Maria that letter?
いかにも。
Indeed.
これは親父殿の差し金なのかね？
Is father behind this?
いいえ。
No.
これは私のゲームです。
This is my game.
ならそのゲームは私たちの勝ちだわ。
If that's so, then we've won.
こうして碑文の謎を解いて黄金を見つけたもの。
We've solved the Eptas riddle and found the gold.
あんたの挑戦にうちらは勝ったんやで。
We've accepted your challenge and won.
この黄金わしらのもんちゅうことで間違いないんやろな。
That means this gold belongs to us, right?
いかにもその通りです。
Indeed, it is as you say.
皆さんは碑文の謎を解き、見事にこうして隠された黄金を発見しました。
You have solved the Epitaph splendidly, discovered the hidden gold.
このゲームは皆さんの勝ちです。
This game ends in your victory.
この黄金はもはや私のものではなく、皆さんのもの。
This gold no longer belongs to me, but to all of you.
潔いことだね。
It seems you're a graceful loser.
ねえ、
Hey.
あんた。
Hey, you.
もし碑文の謎を私たちが解けなかったらどうするつもりだったの？
If we hadn't solved this epitaph's riddle, what were you planning to do?
後ろ宮家のすべてを頂戴すると手紙にはあったぜ。
The letter said you'd take everything of the Ishimiya family.
はい。
Yes.
後ろ宮家のすべての財産とすべての命。
I plan to take all of your wealth and all of your lives.
この島に存在するすべてを私の好きにさせてもらうつもりでした。
I plan to do as I please with everything that exists on this island. The witch walked towards the table next to the bed. Then, for the first time, the others realized what sat on that table. They were 4 rifles. There was also a case filled with bullets. The witch picked up one of the lead bullets lying on the table and played with it, her face still expressionless as she spoke.
もし
If
皆さんが碑文の謎を解けずに今夜を終えたなら、
this night ended before you managed to solve the epitaph's riddle,
私は碑文に従い13人を殺す殺人事件を起こすつもりでした。
I plan to follow the epitaph and commit 13 murders.
なんですって。
What did you say?
あの碑文を初めて見たときは思ったわ。
That's what I thought when I first saw that epitaph.
まるで連続殺人を描いた推理小説に出てきそうだなって。
It almost looks like something you'd find in a serial murder mystery novel.
そうね。
That's right.
あの碑文の通りに13人が次々に殺されたら、それはとてもミステリアスな事件になったでしょうね。
If you had killed 13 people to match the epitaph, that would have made for quite a mysterious crime. Mysterious crime.
お前一人にそれができるわけもありません。
There's no way you could do that all by yourself.
いくら銃があっても13人も殺すなどいくらなんでも。
No matter how many guns you had, killing 13 people, I would just be...
計画は入念に、そして何通りにも用意していました。
I formed my plan with great care and constructed several alternatives.
皆さんが今夜から明日までに取り得るすべての可能性を想定し、そのすべてに対応できるミステリーをご用意する予定でした。
I envisioned all the actions you might take from tonight and through tomorrow, and prepared a mystery to deal with each of those.
今となっては披露はできませんが、それは綿密に練られた愉快な密室殺人の数々を用意していたのです。
I'm afraid I cannot reveal those at this point, but it really was a tightly knit set of pleasant closed room murders.
ほんの数人なら銃で寝首をかくこともできたろうよ。
If there were just a few of us, you probably could have gunned us down in our sleep.
だが、さすがに13人も殺せるわけがねえ。
But there's no way you could have killed 13 of us.
俺たちはそこまで間抜けじゃねえぜ。
We aren't that stupid.
そのようですね。
It would seem so.
少なくとも第一の晩以前に碑文の謎を解かれるという想定は最も可能性の低いものだと思っていましたから。
At any rate, I predicted that the epitaph being solved before the first twilight was the most unlikely result.
君にとっては私たちがここへたどり着くのはどうやら誤算だったようだね。
It would seem that us reaching this place was a miscalculation on your part.
いいえ、
No.
これすらも私の望んだルーレットの結果の一つ。
Even this was one of the results of the roulette I wished to create.
そしておそらく皆さんにとって最高の結果を意味するでしょう。
This is probably the best outcome for all of you.
誰も死ぬことなく黄金を手に島を出ることができる。
No one will die, and you can leave this island with the gold.
おめでとうございます。
Congratulations.
ゲームは皆さんの完全な勝利です。
This game ends with a perfect victory for you all. If no one could solve the riddle, she planned to take a gun and commit a serial murder. Everyone gulped as they watched the witch emotionlessly make her confession.
あなたの告白が真実なら、
If this confession of yours is the truth,
あなたは私たちを殺そうとしてたことになるわ。
that means you were trying to kill us.
はい、
Yes,
そうです。
that is true. She's like, yep, that's what I said.
こいつ、
The hell?
よくもシャーシャーと言えるもんだぜ。
How can you just say it like that?
そこまで打ち明けた以上 我々が君を好意的に扱うとは思えないはずだ。
You couldn't possibly expect us to treat you favorably after revealing that much to us, right?
覚悟の上です。
I'm prepared.
私のことは煮るなり焼くなりお好きなように。
You may do as you will with me.
皆さんが碑文を解けなければそうなっていたのは皆さんなのですから、これは対等なことなのです。
If you hadn't solved the epitaph, I would have done the same to you, so it is only fair.
この姉ちゃん大した肝っ玉やで。
This girl's got guts.
命を落とす覚悟があったからこそ用意したゲームでした。
I planned this game because I was prepared to bet my life.
その結果を得られて私は満足しています。
I'm satisfied with the result.
もはや殺されようともそれも覚悟の上です。
If you wish to kill me now, I'm prepared. By now, she didn't even treasure her life. As the witch spoke and walked near the others, they automatically stepped back.
黄金は皆さんのものです。
The gold belongs to all of you.
最初に発見した方に全てを差し上げるつもりでしたが、7人でいらっしゃるとは想定しませんでした。
I planned to give everything to the one who discovered it first, but I didn't expect there to be 7 of you.
7人でどう分けるかは皆さんで決められるといいでしょう。
I'll leave the decision of how to split the gold to you.
私はそれに関知しません。
I will not involve myself.
それから
And the witch walked even closer. The group parted, and she walked up to the antique clock behind them. The clock was large and had a dignified feel to it. The witch patted it and spoke.
この時計の仕掛けも皆さんにご説明しましょう。
Allow me to explain the device within this clock.
皆さんは黄金だけでなく、
For you have gained not just the gold,
この島のすべてを手に入れられたのですから。
but the entirety of this island.
それはどういう意味かね？
What do you mean by that?
第8の晩までを殺人事件風に読み解いたら、確かに殺されるのは13人だわ。
If you read it like a murder case up until the 8th twilight, then only 13 people are killed.
でも第9の晩にははっきりと
But by the 9th twilight,
誰も生き残れはしないと記されているわ。
it clearly says that none are to be left alive.
どういうことだ？
What does that mean?
こいつはつまり俺たちを皆殺しにしようって企んでたってことか？
That she was planning to massacre all of us?
まさかその時計は。
Don't tell me. That clock.
お察しの通りです。
As you have guessed,
爆薬と連動しています。
it is linked to a set of explosives.
その仕掛けを用意したのはあなた？
Are you the one who set that up?
それとも後宮金蔵なの？
Or is that Ishinomiya Kinzo?
仕掛けを作ったのは後宮金蔵です。
Kinzo is the one who set up the device.
この仕掛けこそが彼の狂気の魔力の源泉。
It's the source of his mad magical power.
何を言ってるのかさっぱりや。
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
つまり
In other words,
親父は爆弾を用意してて、
Dad set up this bomb.
無一文になったらいつでもきれいさっぱり、自分ごと全てを吹き飛ばして死んじまう覚悟があったってわけか。
And if he ever went broke, he was ready to wipe out everything, including himself, and die?
後宮金蔵はこの島で黄金の魔女と契約し、黄金を得ました。
On this island, Ishinomiya Kinzo made a contract with the Golden Witch and obtained the gold.
しかし、得たのは黄金だけではなかったのです。
However, that was not all he gained.
どういうことですか？
What are you talking about?
まさかと
Wait,
思うけど。
wait, don't tell me.
六軒島には旧日本軍の基地跡があるという噂話を聞いたことがあるが。
There is that rumor about the remains of an old Japanese military base existing on Rokkenjima.
まさか
could it be?
ご検察の通りです。
Your guess is correct.
この島の地下には戦時中の旧日本軍の地下基地跡が眠っています。
Beneath this island sleep the remains of an underground Japanese military base from the time of the war.
そしてそこには900トンの爆薬も眠っているのです。
Yes, along with 900 tons of explosives.
900トンやって。
900 tons?
とんでもない量や。
That's unbelievable.
そない爆発したら想像もつかん。
If that exploded, the result would be unimaginable.
屋敷どころかクレーターが開くっちゅうもんやで。
Forget just the mansion blowing up. It would leave a massive crater.
専門家の推定では直径 1km 深さ数十メートルの大穴が開くとか。
I believe an expert's estimate put out a hole several dozen meters deep and a kilometer across.
跡形も残らんな。
There wouldn't be even a trace left.
この爆弾は特別な仕掛けで爆発します。
Those explosives can be ignited by a special device.
私が今操作した。これが起動のスイッチです。
A small hint the game gives you in episode 4 when Andrew returns to Rokujima in the future. You can kind of see the crater in the background. The smallest of hints. One connected to the activation switch I just flipped. The witch toyed with the switch on the top part of the antique clock.
この状態で24時を迎えると爆発します。
If midnight arrives and the switch is in this position, the bombs will explode.
もうすぐ24時ですが。
It's almost midnight now.
つまり残り何時間で爆発するというのではなく、
In other words, it won't explode X hours after you flip it.
24時ぴったりにしか爆発しない時限爆弾というわけね。
It's a time limit bomb that only explodes at midnight.
いかにも。
Indeed.
もうじき24時を迎えますね。
It is almost midnight now.
もし爆発をお望みでしたら、このままにしておきますが。
If such an explosion is what you desire, you need only leave it like this.
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。
Who would want that?
解除しなさい。
Turn it off! By this time, Kinzo was probably the only one who knew. The secret base on Rokujima had started out as a submarine base. However, when that plan reached a standstill, it was redefined as a top-secret base for homeland defense. A huge plan had been drawn up to have the Army and Navy perform a pincer attack on American forces if the latter decided to land on Kujukuri Beach and press towards Tokyo. As a trump card for this massive defensive maneuver, the Navy started stockpiling large quantities of explosives and fuel in absolute secrecy. And the Rokujima base was the location of that top-secret stockpile. The buried explosives weighed 900 tons in total. Also, fearing that the Americans might find out that the island's secrets and seize the explosives, they set up a system for the self-destruction of the entire island. Kinzo, who knew all of this, decided not to remove this device, but to tie it in with a strange clock that could trigger such an explosion any night at midnight. Kinzo was famous for building up his funds using a vast store of gold, then using those funds in several sink-or-swim gambles, one after another. Kinzo was famous for building up his funds using a vast store of gold, and then using those funds in several sink-or-swim... Okay, yeah, he's crazy. Just what did his stockpile of gold and the 900 tons of sleeping explosives mean to him? At this point, we can only guess. Perhaps the true source of Kinzo's mad power wasn't the gold after all. If he lost a big gamble in all that he owned, he could erase this entire island from existence with this device. For the rest of his life, he must have put the gold and everything else he had had on the line. What a madman. Kinzo probably stared at this clock at times, sometimes flipping the activation switch and letting it tick down. Maybe, whenever he came up against a troubling problem, he would hide in here and flip the switch, with the intention of blowing everything away if he didn't think of a brilliant plan before midnight came. Damn. He could gaze at this mountain of gold, listening to the clock tick towards his death as he searched for an idea. Perhaps Yoshiromiya Kinzo's real study wasn't the one in the mansion, but this place instead.
親父らしい仕掛けだぜ。
That sort of switch sounds just like Dad.
俺たち子供は親父が悩み事をするたびに道連れにされてたかもしれないってわけだ。
So maybe each time Dad worried about something, all of his kids were put on the line as well.
あのお父様ならあり得る話ね。
This is father, so it wouldn't be unthinkable.
この仕掛けももはや皆さんのものです。
This device now belongs to all of you.
大爆発をお望みでしたらいつでもどうぞ。
If you desire a massive explosion, use it whenever you please.
アホ抜かせ。
Are you crazy?
誰が大爆発なんか望むや。
Who would want a big explosion?
半世紀も前の爆弾でしょ。
These explosives are half a century old, right?
本当に爆発するの？
Would they really go off?
はい、もちろん。
Yes, of course.
爆薬も信管も健在です。
The explosives and the fuses are still working.
試しましたから。
I tested them myself.
試した。
You tested them?
まさかあれか。
You mean that?
そうか、やっとわかったよ。
I see. Now I finally understand.
鎮守の社が跡形もなく消え去ったのはそういうわけか。
So that's why the shrine disappeared without a trace. That summer, the shrine had disappeared completely, along with the reef under it. Though people found it odd that the waves could have wiped it out so completely, no one paid it much mind. And now, this piece fits perfectly into the hole that caused the strange feeling.
いかにも
Indeed.
半世紀を経て、今なお爆薬が健在であるか、あの社で実験させていただきました。
I used that shrine to test whether the explosives were still working after a half century.
結果は皆さんもご承知の通りです。
I believe you're all aware of the result.
あの程度の量であの岩礁が丸々消え去るのですから。
The little bit I used was enough to make that entire reef vanish.
900トンもの爆薬があれば、地図が書き換わるほどの爆発を起こすことは容易に想像できるでしょう。
It's easy to see how 900 tons of that would cause an explosion large enough to rewrite the map.
そんな爆弾を爆発させたら確かに我々はみんな死ぬだね。
If an explosion like that were to occur, it would certainly kill all of us.
しかし君はどうしたの？
But what about you?
まさか私たちと一緒に心中するつもりだったとは思えん。
I doubt you were planning to commit a group suicide with us.
この地下貴賓室は基地跡の地下通路に通じています。
This underground VIP room is connected by a subterranean passage to the remnants of the military base.
それをまっすぐ進めば、島の反対側にある隠し屋敷、クワドリアに出ることができます。
If you go straight along that, you'll come out at the hidden mansion on the opposite side of the island, Kuadorian.
距離は約2キロメートル。
It's about 2 kilometers away.
そこまで逃げれれば、爆発からも逃れられるでしょう。
If you make it all the way there, you should be able to escape the blast.
なるほどね。
I see.
爆発の直前にそこへ逃れるつもりだったのね。
So, you plan to escape to there just before the blast.
そうすることも可能というだけの話です。
I've only said that such a thing is possible.
皆さんは信じないでしょうが、私は皆さんの誰も謎を解くことができず、第9の番を迎えてしまったなら。
You may not believe this, but if the ninth twilight ended before any of you could solve the riddle,
すべてと共に心中するつもりでおりましたから。
I plan to die along with everything else.
こいつ頭がどうかしてやがる。
There's something seriously wrong with this girl.
イカれてるのよ。
She's insane.
考えるだけ無駄だわ。
There's no point overthinking it.
この女は私たちがもし碑文を解けなければあそこの銃で
If we hadn't solved the epitaph, she would have used those guns.
あるいはそこの爆弾のスイッチで
Or else that switch.
私たちを皆殺しにしたのよ。
To massacre all of us, right?
それだけは疑いようがないわ。
There's no doubting that now.
その通りです。
You are correct.
皆さんは誰一人犠牲者を出さないという最善の形でこのゲームを終えられたのです。
You have ended this game in the best possible way, without there being even a single victim.
敬意を表すると同時に心より感服いたします。
I wish to convey my respect and admiration.
私があれだけ長い時間をかけて解いた謎を7人がかりとはいえ一晩で
There may have been 7 of you, but you did solve that riddle, which took me so long to solve, in a single night.
それは称えられるべきです。
That is worthy of praise.
私も君の潔さに敬意を表するよ。
And I admire you for your graciousness and honesty in defeat.
君の処遇はこれから考えるが、極力紳士的なものになるよう配慮するつもりだ。
We'll decide how to deal with you in the future, but I intend to do all I can to reach a gentlemanly agreement.
私のことはもうお気になされず、
Pay me no mind any longer.
私は皆さんを殺し、自らも死ぬ覚悟をすでにしている亡者なのですから。
I'm already one of the dead, who is already prepared to kill everyone and die myself. The goal in which Beatrice solved the epitaph reached this room and revived. And now, new people had solved the riddle and reached this room, so her role was finished. When the epitaph's riddle was solved, Beatrice's illusion of the witch ended. Most likely, no one in this room was capable of understanding her grim determination. She herself was probably the only one who understood. As long as the many cells inside of her understood, that was enough. I am one yet many. I abandoned myself to the magical roulette of endless possibilities. The result? The answer? Is this. This is what the tarot cards known as the epitaph ceremony have shown me. Beatrice is already dead. They did not kill her. I killed her myself, in accordance with fate's command. They will never understand for all eternity. The witch stared up at the ceiling without speaking for a while, then looked as though she'd suddenly remembered something. She grabbed the sleeves of her dress and took out some sort of card.
そうそう、
Oh, yes.
忘れていました。
I forgot.
私に死に銭など必要ありませんので、
I have no need for money after death.
これも皆さんにお渡しします。
I'll give this to you. I'll give this to all of you as well.
キャッシュカード？
A cash card?
黄金の一部を現金化していました。
I've converted a portion of the gold to cash.
それが入っている口座です。
This is for the account that the money is in.
なるほどな。
I see.
黄金の魔女のまさに魔法エネルギーっちゅうわけやな。
So this is the source of the gold, which is magical energy.
いくら入っているんだね。
How much?
詳しくは忘れました。
I've forgotten the details.
でも、10億以上は入っています。
However, there's more than 1 billion yen.
10億
A billion?
そりゃ確かに魔法だぜ。
Now that really would be magic.
そうね。
True.
それだけのお金でできないことはないでしょうからね。
There's nothing you couldn't do with that much money.
そうですね。
Very true.
人間の半魔法の毒素に最も強い唯一の魔法がこの黄金の魔法。
The strongest magic to counter the human's anti-magic toxin is this magic of gold.
ある意味、このカードはインゴットよりも強い力を持つかもしれませんね。
It may be that this card holds greater power than the ingots.
まったくだね。
Certainly.
インゴットより現金の方が喜ばれるものだ。
Cash would be much more agreeable than ingots.
どうぞ。
Here you go.
私にはもはや 不要なものですので。
I have no need for this anymore. The card she held out was not taken by any of them. Who would ever just hand over a card with 1 billion yen on it? The amount of gold, a device for blowing up the island, the card with 1 billion yen. All of these surpassed their understanding. So, no one could bring themselves to take it.
気に入らないわ。
I don't like it.
何がですか？
What don't you like?
黄金の山を、はいどうぞ。
Here you go. Here's an amount of gold.
爆弾も解除します。10億のカードもどうぞ。
And I'll turn off the explosives and give you a card worth 1 billion yen while we're at it.
話がうますぎて気持ち悪いのよ。
It sounds far too good to be true.
あんた、何か私たちを騙そうって企んでるんじゃないでしょうね。
You're trying to trick us somehow, aren't you?
騙す気もありませんが、信じろとも言いません。
I have no desire to trick you, but I won't try to force you to believe.
私はすべてを差し出し、すべてを明かしています。
I've offered you everything, revealed everything.
何を信じ、どうしようと、それはもう新しい黄金の主である皆さんが決めることです。
What you believe and what you do is now for you, the new masters of the gold, to decide.
私の言うことを何も信じず、この場を立ち去ることさえ皆さんの自由です。
You're even free to disbelieve all I say and leave this place.
エヴァ、
Eva,
彼女が嘘を言っているとは思えんね。
I can't imagine that she's lying.
なんでそうだってわかるのよ。
And how could you know that?
こいつの余裕が気に入らないのよ。
I don't like how I don't like how relaxed she's acting.
まるでもう全てに勝利したかのようだわ。
It's as though she thinks she's already won.
私、今ふと思ったの。
I just had an idea a second ago.
爆弾のスイッチとかいうの、オンとオフが逆じゃないの？
What if she's lying about which is the off side of the switch?
それ、どういうこと？姉さん。
Yeah, Eva, let's get paranoid. What do you mean, Nissan?
さっきその女は爆弾を解除すると言ってそのスイッチをいじったわ。
Just a second ago, this woman flipped the switch to the side she said would turn off the bomb.
実はその時スイッチを入れたんじゃないの？
But what if that actually armed the bomb?
あんたは私たちに謎を解かれたんで、私たちごと全てを吹き飛ばすために爆弾のスイッチをオンにしたんじゃないの？
We solved the riddle, so you turned the bomb switch to on, trying to blow us and everything else up, right? Beatrice is like,
そうお思いでしたら、どうぞその時計のスイッチを入れてください。
if that is what you think, then feel free to flip the switch on this clock.
あと1分で24時。
It'll be midnight in 1 minute.
真実は時計が教えてくれます。
The clock will show you the truth.
なんですって？
What did you say?
おい、どうすんだよ。
Hey, what are we supposed to do?
今爆弾はオンなのか
Is the bomb set to on now?
オフなのか
Or off?
彼女が嘘を言ってるとは思えん。
I can't imagine that she's lying.
今が解除だ。
It's inactive now.
押すべきではない。
We shouldn't flip it.
でも気に入らないのよ。
But I don't like it.
なんでこんなに素直なのこいつ。
Why is she so resigned to her fate?
なんでこうもはいどうぞはいどうぞってなるの？
Why is she offering us things one after another?
こいつは私たちを騙して時間を稼いでるのよ。
She's tricking us to buy time.
24時になるまで時間を稼いで私たちを道連れにするつもりだわ。
She wants to buy time until midnight so that she can go down in flames along with us. Eva, don't flip the switch. Don't do it.
そのスイッチはどうなってるの？
Oh, what about the switch itself?
オンかオフかわかる形状なの？
Is there some way to tell if it's on or off? On the upper part of the antique clock was a middle switch that could slide right or left. Right now, it was set to the left. However, there were no marks in particular on either side to tell one which was off and which was on.
おい、白状しろ。
Hey, tell us the truth.
どっちがオフなんだ
Which way is off?
左が、
Left.
今がオフです。
It's off now.
バカルドルフ
You idiot!
その女が正直に言うはずがないでしょ
You really expect an honest answer from her?
逆よ逆に決まってるわ
It's the opposite. It has to be.
右がオフなのよそうに違いない
The right side must be off.
もう時間がないわ姉さん。
Oh, we don't have any more time, Nissan.
よせエヴァ
Quit it, Eva.
スイッチをいじるな
Don't touch the switch.
今がオフだ
It's set to off now.
エヴァさん、その手を離しなさい。
Eva-san, take your hand off it.
私も同感よ
I agree.
今がオフだわ
It's off now.
もし私たちを爆弾で殺すつもりなら彼女は爆弾の話を告白しなかったはずよ
If she wanted to kill us with a bomb, she wouldn't have told us about it. Kind of a good point.
ベアトリーチェ
Beatrice!
私を騙そうったってそうはいかないわよ
Don't think you can trick me.
5、
5,
4、3、
4, 3. That's a good scream. Boom. Just boom. Game just goes white. The second hand of the clock ticked past 2400. October 4th ended, and the curtain rose on October 5th, 1986. The switch was still pointing to the left. The witch's words had been proven correct.
これで信用していただけましたか？
Have I gained your trust now?
この穴
You bitch! With a hideous, sweat-covered expression, Eva snatched the cash card away from the witch's hand.
通帳と印鑑は
How about a bank book and seal?
カードだけじゃ引き出せないわよ
We can't withdraw anything with just a card.
暗証番号で引き出せます。
All you need is the pin.
8桁です。
It's 8 digits long.
ちょっと待ちなさいよ
Wait a second.
今書くから
I'm writing it down. Ava and Kyrie both took out a pen and notepad and began writing the 8-digit number the witch told them.
これで私から皆さんへ伝えること、そして受け渡すものはすべて終わりです。
That is everything I have to tell you and to give you.
もう私は自ら何も喋りません。
I'll say nothing more.
役目をすべて終えましたので。
All of my tasks have been completed. After saying this, the witch spun around and sat down on the bed. She wasn't even looking at the others anymore. She sat there like an empty husk which had, just as she had said, finished everything it existed to do. For a while, everyone watched the witch to see if she would remember something else and start talking. However, she said nothing else. The witch, who had called herself one of the dead, was now little more than a large French doll wearing a black dress. Ava overthought it. She almost overthought, and everyone was responsible. Gold is the only physical embodiment of magic that can exist in the human world. Since ancient times, even a small bit of it could control men with its magic. In that case, how much magic power would dwell in it? If it was piled up in a mountain so high, you'd have to look up to see the top.
バカ言わないでよ山分けよ
Don't be stupid, we'll split it evenly.
山分けに決まってんでしょ
Isn't that the obvious solution?
この山の半分がまず私のもので、さらに半分を4等
Oh
分
no,
する
here
と
we
いう
go
話
again.
だったのではないかね。
This fucking family, dude. Didn't we say that half of this pile would belong to me, and the other half would be split between the four of us? The yells of the humans dancing around the gold reverberated throughout the underground room. In front of the pile of gold, sorry, they were arguing about how it should be split.
兄さん一人で謎が解けた？
Did you solve the riddle all by yourself, Nissan?
解けなかったでしょ？
You didn't, right?
私たち兄弟4人で解いたのよ。
The four of us siblings solved it together.
4等分で当然でしょうが。
Of course we'll split it in 4 equal parts.
卑劣な。
Coward.
黄金の分配についてはあなたたちが提案したのではないですか。
Weren't you the ones who first made the proposal about the gold's distribution?
それを勝手に保護にするなんて。
How can you disregard that so easily?
取引できる立場だと思ってんのか？
You really think you're in a position to bargain?
親父が死んでることを隠してるくせに。
When you're the ones hiding Dad's death?
そうよそうよ。
Yeah.
私たちをずっと欺いてお父様の財産を私物化してきたくせに。
You've been swindling us this whole time, treating father's wealth as if it were your own.
それをうやむやにする分も全て含めてチャラにして仲良く4等分。
All you need to do is split the gold evenly, and we'll drop all the rest, including that particular issue.
フェアな話だと思うわ。
Sounds fair to me.
ほう。そこまで言うなら4等分にしようじゃないか。
Well, if you insist, go ahead and try splitting it 4 ways.
今すぐこの山を切り分けて自由に持って帰るがいい。
Let's divide this pile up right now. You can all take your own shares home.
2.5 トン分のインゴットが入るポケットでもお持ちならばの話だがね。
I hope you have pockets that can hold 2.5 tons of ingots.
それに諸君はどうやら黄金の山に惑わされてすっかり冷静な判断を失ってしまっているようだ。
Seems you've all been driven mad by the gold and lost all ability to make rational judgments.
そらどういう意味でっか、クラウス兄さん。
What do you mean by that, Kraus-Nissan?
このインゴットを見たまえ。
Look at this ingot.
見ての通り刻まれているのは親父殿の紋章だけで正式な刻印ではない。
As you can see, there are no official markings, just father's crest.
刻印の打たれていないインゴットを諸君はどう換金するというのかね。
How do you intend to turn unmarked gold like this into cash?
それは。
Well,
ようやく気づいたかね。
have you finally figured it out?
確かにこの黄金の山には200億円の価値があるだろう。
This pot of gold may be worth 20 billion yen.
しかしそれは換金を経ればの話だ。
However, that's only if you can trade it for cash.
これだけの大量の刻印のない正体不明のインゴットを誰にも知られずにしかるべきレートで換金することが君たちにできるのかね。
Are any of you capable of exchanging this many unmarked, unidentified ingots for cash at the proper rates? If it was a necklace or ring, exchanging it for cash would have been a manageable problem. However, doing that for several tons of unmarked gold that couldn't be made public would be impossible for any normal person. However, Kraus could do it. Among the several business friends that remained from Kinzo's generation, there were some who had black market ties and a lot of financial power. The billion yen tied to the cash card that the Golden Witch had held out a second ago had already been turned to cash thanks to one of Kinzo's connections. However, none of the other siblings had any connections like that. They would have to rely on Kraus to get cash for the gold.
ようやく分かってきたかね。
Now you're finally seeing it.
親父殿のことを隠していたことは謝ろう。
I apologize for hiding all those things about father.
しかし、それを弱みにできるほど君たちは優位な立場にはないのだよ。
However, you're in no position to take advantage of that weakness.
その程度のことで優位に立ったつもり？
You really think you have such an advantage just because of something like that?
なんだねその銃は。
What do you intend to do with that gun?
物騒な真似は慎みたまえ。
Please, you're scaring us. Eva was gripping the gun so hard it looked like it might snap. The 4 guns that the witch had placed in this room were now in the hands of the relatives. Just as the gold had led their hearts astray, it seemed these guns had the magical power to turn their hearts to violence. Great. Finally, a scuffle arose between Eva and Kraus. Off to the side, Natsui started arguing with Rudolph and his wife, The grand underground VIP room was filled with thundering jeers. After being forced to watch this scene for so long, Angie's face was starting to contort with pain. It was only natural after being shown this abusive argument between her parents and her other relatives. What on earth? It was painful for Leon too. Leon would have tried to intervene and calm them if that had been possible. The gold isn't going anywhere, right? If you just slow down and think, you'll be able to resolve this. Going by what Eva and the others said, it's clear that they'll need a lot of money before the end of the year. However, billion-yen cash cards should be more than enough to pay for that. That would handle their emergency expenses, so they could then convert the gold to cash at their leisure and just split it amongst themselves. Sure, maybe Kraus was the only one capable of converting the gold. That might give him an advantage over the other siblings. However, this gold couldn't be dealt with by open means. In addition to attracting public attention, it would also lead to various legal problems. It was better for the secret money to remain secret. If they wanted to get the largest portions possible, then they should all agree not to tell anyone about this gold. In other words, to maximize the profits, they would all need to make a gentleman's agreement to keep the secret. Kraus did have a slight advantage. However, it was possible for the other relatives to refuse to cooperate and tell the world about the gold. And then, there was also the concealment of Kinzo's death to consider. Kraus was an investor. He needed not only financial clout, but also a certain degree of public confidence in him. His advantage isn't big enough for him to act so overbearing. The mountain of gold has made everyone lose their ability to think rationally. This isn't an argument between adults. It's just a fight between kids. What's so fun about showing us this? Or is this the game of some new witch? Are they watching us suffer from somewhere and laughing? By now, even I didn't have a clue who was showing this to us, or for what reason. At the very least, this new tale didn't seem to be overflowing with affection. At first, I thought it was a tale of a beautiful world where no crime occurred and Claire's regrets had vanished. But something's different. This tale is clearly filled with ill will towards us. I'm sure of that much now, but I don't have a clue who would want to show us this. Oh! Suddenly, an explosion rang out. I didn't think it was the sound of gunfire. After all, people living a normal life never heard that kind of sound. Drip, 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 drip. It was the sound of thick raindrops hitting the floor. There was no rain in this underground room. It was blood dripping down from Natsui's right eye. The bullet had gone in through her right eye. Oh, towards the back of her head. Natsui! Oh. It's your fault for jumping at me. The gun, which fell from Eva's grasp, landed on the floor with a hard metallic clang. As though in response to that sound, Natsui's head slowly turned to face the ceiling. Jesus. Natsui! Natsui! Natsui flopped backwards. When the back of her head hit the floor, a red splash spread out beneath it, forming a single flower to adorn her dead face. Natsui! Nissan! Why did you shoot her? Why? Eva! Eva! Kraus howled, raised his gun, and ran at Eva. Yeah, shoot her. Shoot her. Teach her a lesson, Kraus. At the same time, Hideyoshi leapt between them. A scuffle broke out between the two men. How could you? Natsui! Growl. Krausny-san, you've got it wrong. You've got it all wrong. It was just an accident. Eva, how could you? I'll kill you. I'll kill you! I didn't shoot. I didn't. Even though I told her to stop, she just jumped at me. Krause, who had just seen his wife killed before his eyes, had lost all traces of rationality in his expression. He was so furious that if he had knocked Hideyoshi aside and jumped at Eva, he might have torn her throat out. Oh, that'd be fun. Why did you kill her? Why? Eva! Eva! It was an accident. An accident. Calm down, Krausny-san. No, not another one. Oh, these people. Another explosion rang out. Hideyoshi's face was covered with blood. The two of them had been fighting over the gun Krause held, trying to push it away from themselves. When the barrel had turned to point at Krause's chin, the sneering, formless Reaper, master of the Room of Gold, had swung its scythe once more. When the barrel had turned to point at Krause's chin, the sneering, formless Reaper, master of the Room of Gold, swung its scythe once more. Nice. I like how it's worded. A line of blood trickled from Krause's mouth. The two fell down, with Krause's body on top of Hideyoshi. Letting out a cowardly cry, Hideyoshi backed away before Krause's body could cover him. Dear! I didn't do anything. Krausny-san's finger just got caught on the trigger. It's an accident. An accident, I tell you. That's right, an accident. This was all an accident. The three of them are just like, what the fuck is happening? As the pair of them broke down sobbing and repeatedly claiming that it was all an accident, Rosa and the others were unable to say a thing. The witch also watched the scene, but said nothing, and appeared to be completely disinterested. Great. It wasn't our fault. It was just an accident. You saw, right? 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 You saw that, didn't you, Rosa? Krausny-san and Natsui-san both let their emotions get a hold of them and charged at us. Who knows? I couldn't say either way. Stupid Rosa! You saw, didn't you? You saw it from right there, so you must know. I'm sorry. I can't tell if it happened by accident, or if you killed them and tried to make it look like an accident. I mean, that's, you know, like you're saying, a very cold statement there by Rosa. Essentially not helping. But also, I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's a statement you would make to de-escalate the situation. Seems like you're instigating, or potentially. You just witnessed two siblings die. 2 people. Yeah. Rosa, you. Rudolph-kun. You saw? You know what happened, right? Right?
すまねえがローザに同じだ。
Sorry, but I agree with Rosa.
事故か恋か俺たちには分からない。
We can't tell if it was an accident or intentional. Rosa and Rudolph's gazes looked very cold and indifferent to Eva and her husband.
どうするのよ。銃で死んでるのよ。
What are we going to do? They were shot to death.
事故とかごまかせないわよ。
Saying it was a simple accident won't convince anyone.
森や。
The forest.
森に行って行方不明になったとか言って時間を稼ぐんや。
We'll say they went to the forest and went missing. That'll buy us some time.
そんなのでごまかしきれるわけないでしょ。
That won't get us off the hook, right?
警察が森中を捜索するわよ。
The police will just search the whole forest.
そもそもあの未開の森にどうして2人が出かけるのよ。
And anyway, why would those two go off into an uncultivated forest like that?
すぐに不審に思われるわよ。
It'll look suspicious from the start.
騙し通せるわけないわ。
There's no way we'll get away with it.
大丈夫や。
It'll be okay.
ここに死体を隠せば誰にも見つからん。
If we hide the corpses here, no one will be able to find them.
みんなで知らんぷりをすればごまかせる。
If we all play dumb, it'll work.
無理よ。
It won't.
警察をごまかせるわけないわ。
There's no way you can fool the police.
遺産問題で揉める親族会議で兄さん夫婦が深夜に揃って失踪なんて。
If the two of them disappear during a family conference where we are arguing over the inheritance problem,
警察が簡単に行方不明で済ましてくれるわけがないわ。
the police won't just put it down as a case of missing persons.
いい案を思いついたわ。
I just had an idea. Though Eva had been scratching at her head, overcome with emotion, her arms suddenly fell as though their strings had been cut.
何か思いついたか。
She's thinking of the clock now, isn't she? What did you think of?
事故よ。
An accident.
事故に見せかければいいのよ。
We just need to make it look like an accident.
アホ抜かせ。
Idiot!
事故ってなんや。
What kind of accident?
二人の死体にははっきり銃創が残っとるんやで。
There are clear gunshot wounds on both corpses, right?
火事に見せかけて焼いたって銃で死んだとバレバレや。
Even if we burn them to make it look like they were caught in a fire, it'll still be obvious that they were killed by guns.
火事？
A fire?
そんなのじゃダメよ。
That's not good enough.
もっと。
We need more.
もっともっと大きな事故じゃなきゃ。
A much more massive accident.
大きな事故？
A massive accident? Ava slowly walked forward, tapped it, and spoke.
爆発事故よ。
An explosion accident.
死体が跡形も残らない事故が起こればいいのよ。
We just need the sort of accident that'll leave no traces of their corpses. As she played with the switch that would cause an automatic explosion at midnight, Ava spun around to look at them, a crazed expression on her face. It was truly a mad flash of inspiration. If they flipped the switch to the right and waited for midnight, the 900 tons of explosives would wipe out the mansion without a trace. There wouldn't even be anything left of the corpses. There certainly wouldn't be any way to tell that they had died by gunshot wounds before the explosion.
この島に戦争中の爆薬が未だに残ってるというのは紛れもない事実。
It's an unshakable fact that this island is still filled with explosives from the war.
それが明日の夜偶然何かの拍子に間違って爆発してしまうのよ。
Then, by coincidence, tomorrow night, something will set it off by chance and the whole thing will explode.
そうこれは事故。
Yes! It'll be an accident.
爆発事故。
An explosion accident.
どう？
What are you saying?
絶対に警察にはわからない。
There's no way the police will find the truth.
これならごまかせ。
This way, we can pull it off.
二人の死体をごまかせる。
We can hide the manner of their deaths. Whoa, whoa, her face. That's crazy. Shaking, Hideyoshi frantically searched for a counter-argument, hoping to shut down Eva's mad idea. The question becomes, why would the other three agree to this? Yeah, I'm thinking that too. I've been thinking over that now over the last like 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, well, let's say the police do get involved. Are the other three going to be able to get themselves out of the already potentially sticky situation as well? I mean, I'm not saying they're obviously not the ones who potentially pulled the trigger on them, but like, are you at all culpable? Are you at all gonna get wrapped up in it? If it does, if everything hits the fan at that point, police get involved, whatever the case. Do they think that they would be able to get out without any problems as well? Do they think of some situation where, like, even if they're not implicitly, like, I don't know, like, thought of killing Kraus and Natsui, does somehow Eva and Hideyoshi, like, somehow drag them down with them somehow? If Eva and Hideyoshi were somehow, you know, found to be in trouble, guilty somehow. I don't know. Shaking, Hideyoshi frantically searched for a counter-argument, hoping to shut down Eva's mad idea. But he couldn't find one. If they blew everything up, the facts would all be muddled. They could make it look as though Kraus and Natsuya died in an explosion accident.
完璧だ。完璧よ。
I mean, also, I don't know if this is gonna be something that they're gonna have to discuss, but also, like, if they blow up the island, I guess they could technically choose when to blow it up, at what, midnight? But, like, aren't they potentially surrendering the gold? Because unless they think there's some easy way of transporting that gold. So then that's the other thing. If the other three are like, well, we don't want to blow up the island because we're essentially sacrificing our share of the gold potentially. But gold, man, gold bars, just not a very easily handled form of money, you know? More problem than it's worth. It's perfect. Just perfect.
兄さんたちが死んだのだって事故だもの。
After all, it was an accident that they died anyway.
もう一つ事故が起こるだけの話だわ。
We're just changing the type of accident. Jessica would not keep quiet, probably. Neither would Badler, or maybe even George. Well, that's the other thing. There's other people still on this island that you have to consider. That's a good point. You know what? Jessica, someone might have to be, if the adults were in agreement, it would become dark, and it would have to be like one of the adults would have to agree to take, like, take Jessica behind the shed and eliminate her somehow. And then it's up to you. Do you want to try risking it with like George and Battler? We're just changing the type of accent. Isn't that right? We can think up any story we want. By chance, the rest of us will happen to be in the Hidden Mansion tomorrow night. Then, when the explosion accident occurs, we'll be lucky enough to survive. That story should work.
何をどういう筋書きにするつもりよ。
Just what sort of story are you planning on?
クラウス兄さんと夏日姉さんだけを残して、残り全員が隠し屋敷に行っていて。
What kind of story could explain how the two of them alone remained here?
私たちだけが都合よく難を逃れるって、一体どういう筋書きよ。
While the rest of us conveniently went to the Hidden Mansion and managed to escape.
それはこれから考えるって言ってるでしょ、バカローザ。
That's what we gotta think of now, stupid Rosa.
何でもいいのよ。口裏さえ合わせればどうにでもなるのよ。
It doesn't matter what it is, as long as we all agree to it.
考えてるわよ。あんたたちも考えなさいよ。
I'll think of something I am thinking, you all think too.
誰か考えて。
Does someone think of something? Eva is fucking insane. But here's where I have to say, I could fix her.
落ち着くんやエヴァ。
Calm down, Eva.
わしも考える。みんなも考えとる。
I'll think about it, and so will everyone else.
必ずうまくいくんや。思いつくんや。
We'll definitely think of something, and it'll all work out.
お前だけに背負わせとるわけないで。みんなで背負うんやで。
We'll share the burden. You won't have to carry it all by yourself.
大丈夫。大丈夫や。
It'll all be okay. It will.
必ずうまい言い訳が思いつくんや。
I know we'll think of a good excuse.
それはどんな言い訳なの？
What kind of excuse?
クラウス兄さんと夏日姉さんの2人だけを屋敷に残して、私たちと子供たちと、あと使用人のみんなも一緒に仲良く地下道を探検して。
We took the kids and all the servants to go exploring an underground passageway, leaving just the two of them behind.
みんなで隠し屋敷で夜を過ごすという、どういう言い訳なの？
And the rest of us all decide to spend the night in the Hidden Mansion?
うまい言い訳があるわけもない。
How could any excuse work?
めちゃくちゃだわ。
It's insane.
そのめちゃくちゃを考えるのが私たちの仕事でしょ。
And thinking up that insane thing is our job.
何を他人面してんのよ。
Why are you acting like this has nothing to do with you?
あんたたちも考えてよ。考えなさいよ。
You think of something too.
姉さん、
Nissan,
質問するわ。
let me ask you a question.
島を吹き飛ばしたらこの黄金はどうなるの？
If you blew up the island, what'll happen to this gold? There we go.
それは
Now they're on my page. Well,
私たちはやっと200億の黄金を手に入れたのよ。
we finally gotten our hands on 20 billion yen of gold.
それをみすみす吹き飛ばすつもり？
And you want to blow it all away?
そんなの運べばいいじゃない。運べば。
Oh, we can just carry it away. Yeah, that's right.
爆発は明日の24時。
The explosion will happen tomorrow at midnight.
まるまる1日あるのよ。
We have a full day.
みんなで運べばなんとか。
If we all carry it together, we might...
10トンあるのよ。
You realize there's 10 tons of it, right?
お米の袋を担ぐのもやっとの私たちが、一体どの程度の量をたったの1日で。
Just how much do you think our small group could carry?
島の反対側まで通じる長い地下道を徒歩で往復して運ぶっていうのよ。
back and forth across this long underground passage that goes all the way across the island.
それこそむちゃくちゃだわ。
You're being absurd.
これ
Here,
カードがあるじゃない。
we have this card, right?
さっきあの女から受け取った10億円の入ったカードが。
The card worth 1 billion yen. The one the woman gave us.
黄金は運べるだけ運べばいい。
We'll just carry as much gold as we can.
それを別にしても私たちには10億円が入ったカードがあるわ。
We have the card with 1 billion yen on top of that.
3等分しても分け前は最低3億。
If we split that 3 ways, we'll have more than 300 million each.
私たちの誰もがそれで十分に金策をしのげるじゃない。
That should be enough for all of our purposes.
いやよ。
I don't like it.
何が？
You don't like what?
ここにこうして200億円の山があるのに。
We have a mountain worth 20 billion yen right here.
どうして3億ポッチで納得しなきゃいけないのよ。
Why should we be satisfied with just 300 million each?
ローザー
Rosa! Eva's face twisted in anguish, and was what met by Rosa's look of cold unconcern.
クラウス兄さんたちの取り分を除いたとしても、
If we gave Kraus-Nissan a share,
私たちの取り分は1人50億よ。
we'd each have a share of 5 billion.
カードの3億を抜いて残りは47億。
Subtract the 300 million from the card, and the rest of my share is 4.7 billion.
それを姉さんが私に払えるって言うなら、この黄金の山は好きにしてくれていいわ。
If you agree to pay that much to me, then you can do whatever you want with this mountain of gold.
あんた何をシャーシャーと。
What do you think you're saying?
協力する気はないの？
So, you don't intend to cooperate?
姉さん、
Nei-san,
頭を冷静にして聞いてちょうだい。
please calm down and listen.
私も姉さんも最も多くのお金を手に入れられる方法を提案するわ。
This plan will let us both leave with the maximum amount of money.
何よ。
What?
素直に警察に取っ組み合いの末銃が暴発したと言って自首してほしいの。
I want you to go to the police and turn yourself in, admitting that you got into a scuffle and the gun went off.
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。私は嫌よ警察なんて。
Good luck convincing her to do that. Are you crazy? I don't want to go to the police.
さすがに事件がここで起こったとは言いたくないわね。
Of course, we don't want to say that the crime happened here.
警察に黄金が見つかっちゃう。
The police would find the gold.
そうね。バラ庭園なんてどう？
Yes. How about the rose garden?
雨が降っているから現場検証の時矛盾が発見されなくていいかもしれない。
It's pouring rain now, so the police probably won't find any contradictions at the crime scene.
どういう経緯で雨のバラ庭園で銃を持った兄さんたちと取っ組み合いになったかについては、それこそ姉さんに言い訳を考えてもらうわ。
I'll let you think of an excuse for why you and Nissan started fighting while you were holding guns in the rainy rose garden.
自分たちの罪を隠したいからって私たちとその取り分まで巻き込まないで。
Please, don't try to get us and our shares involved just because you want to hide your own crime.
ローザー
Rosa.
いいじゃない。
It's not so bad, right?
別に何十年も食らい込むわけじゃない。
After all, it's not like they'll keep you in jail for several decades.
だって事故なんでしょ。ほんの数年で出てこられるわよ。
It was an accident, right? You'll be able to get out after just a few years. That's what I'm saying. This feels like we're teetering.
姉さんの分の黄金50億を好きにすればいい。
We're teetering so close to like Hideyoshi and Eva just being like, well, they're not cooperating with us. We can just kill them all and then go with our plan. Also, I love the visual of just Beatrice in the corner of the room just watching this with a blank expression. It's just like... it's so good. You'll be able to get out after just a few years. When you've paid for your sins and come back, then you can do whatever you want with your 5 billion. No. I'd never do that. What would happen if we were arrested? What would happen to my husband's company? Who cares about the company? With 5 billion yen, working any longer would just be a waste of time, right? Rosa had never intended to go along with Eva's proposal. If it was a question of maximizing each person's portion, no one would have anything to gain from an explosion accident. An explosion would conceal Kraus and Natsui's deaths, and it would serve no further purpose. From Rosa's perspective, the ideal outcome would be for them to confess to their crimes without any unnecessary tricks. All she wanted was to change the crime scene from here to a different place. However, Eva didn't want to be arrested. She didn't like having her share shrink from 5 billion to 300 million, but even that was more than enough to cover the amount she had been trying to wring out of Kraus in the first place. She wanted to hide what had happened here, even if it meant blowing away 4.7 billion yen. What would happen if they were arrested? The life, the company, and the trust that Eva had worked so hard to build were things that couldn't be brought back with money. So, she wanted to hide Kraus and Natsui's deaths, even if it meant blowing up all 4.7 billion yen worth of their gold. But, from Rosa's perspective, that was just irrational nonsense. There it is. Oh, she's got a gun too! Let's go! What do you think you're doing with that gun, Nissan? Are you going to have me die in the explosion too? Also, I wonder what kind of fun the kids are having right now. I'm sure they're watching television. Maria is saying some weird shit. George and Shannon having their moment still. Let's see, diaries. Are you going to have me die in the explosion too? That'll make finding an excuse even harder. Oh wait, yeah, you're right. In fact, it'll make it harder to explain away the other two deaths as accidents too. 3 whole deaths means it'll be quite a large-scale crime. It would probably get you the death penalty. Or life in prison, if you're lucky. Even in the best case, you'll probably be put away for more than a decade, right? Turn yourself in. If you do, this will be no more than a pair of unfortunate accidents. Of course, your jail term won't be too terrible either. Don't worry about George-kun. We'll take good care of him. And we'll make sure that your entire share of 5 billion yen is waiting for you when we get back. Rosa's being very rational right now. She's actually making a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean... she's in a I agree. In theory, Rosa is making sense right now and is putting forth the best action plan. But in Eva's eyes, it's a non-starter because she sees what the other option is to get herself completely out of in her eyes out of any potential problem. You know what I mean? And we'll make sure that your entire share of 5 billion yen is waiting for you when you get back. Eva ground her teeth and glared. The Rosa she knew should have been shaking and obeying her commands. Ava ground her teeth and shared and glared. The Rosa she knew should have been shaking and obeying her commands, and yet Rosa wasn't scared. Her blank expression, no, that faint smile, was one that Eva had never seen before. Put the gun down, Nissan. Once you calm down, you'll see that my plan is the best one. Jail isn't so bad, right? Think of it as a financial strategy. Even if they put you in for 10 years, there'll be 5 billion waiting for you when you get out. Here's the question. Would you willingly go to jail for 10 years if 5 billion yen was waiting for you on the outside? Would you give up 10 years of your life? That's like working for a 500 million yen salary, right? Well, it's not jail, it's rich people jail. Probably, yeah. Good point. If you think of it that way, won't you enjoy your job more? Liar. You just want to steal my share away while I'm in there. Like your man did to you. Oh, that's cold. That's cold. That's cold. That's cold. He has nothing to do with this, okay? I won't run away. I never run away with someone's money. I'll never do it! Rose's once frigid face was filled with rage. The two howling people pointed their guns at each other, shouting insults. I wonder what Kyrie and Rudolph are thinking at this exact moment. They're just in the corner. They're just like, they haven't been involved in quite some time. They're just like, You could smell the Gold Room's Reaper slinking closer. The smell of gunpowder, the explosive smell of death filled the room. Drip. A bubble of blood dripped from Rose's mouth. Oh. Then she fell over lifelessly, like a mannequin someone had pushed over.
Eva!
Eva! It wasn't me. I swear I didn't even pull the trigger. Oh, my girl. My girl. My girl. The round in the chamber of your gun was spent when you fired at Natsui-san, right? You never reloaded, so even if you pull the trigger, that gun won't kill anyone. Have no fear. As Kyrie said this, she maneuvered the lever action with a practiced hand, and a smoke-smelling shell casing was ejected. It hit the floor with a small metallic sound. That tiny sound had a disturbing ring to it. Rosa-san's analysis was a little naive. She has no idea how difficult it would be to exchange this many unmarked gold ingots for money.
見せ金に使っただけで後ろ宮家黄金伝説なんてのができちまうほど親父の時にだって大きな噂になったんだ。
Back in Dad's day, even just showing this gold to get funding was enough to create the massive rumor called the Ishiramiya legend of the gold.
無理さ、換金なんて。
Exchanging this for cash is impossible.
換金できねえ黄金の山なんてクソの山と同じだぜ。
A pile of gold you can't use is no better than a pile of crap.
10トンもの黄金が水面下で換金されていて、次期当主夫婦が開始。
10 tons of gold were exchanged for cash on the black market, and the successor and his wife died mysterious deaths.
これで目立つなという方が無理な話だわ。
Expecting that to go unnoticed is what's truly unbelievable.
警察沙汰にしない方がいい。
We don't want to get the police involved.
この島を吹き飛ばして証拠隠滅。
We'll blow up this island and destroy all the evidence.
インゴットに未練があるなら、持てる分だけどうぞご勝手に。
If it's tough parting with the gold, feel free to grab as much as you can.
10億のキャッシュカードだけで見返りは十分。
The billion yen on the cash card is more than enough.
つまり、エヴァ姉さんが正しいの。
In other words, Eva Nissan was right.
嬉しい。
I'm glad.
あなたと意見が一致した。
It looks like we're on the same page.
警察沙汰の中で何が起こるかわからない。
If the police get involved, who knows what might happen?
黄金の換金だってそうだわ。
It's the same with cashing in the gold.
きっとボロを出すきっかけになるわよ。私たちにはどうにもならなかった。
I'm sure that would have tripped us up somewhere, so we had no choice.
あの女が現金化してくれた10億が私たちに手に入れられる唯一のお金なのよ。
The 1 billion that woman over there exchanged for cash is the only money we'll be able to get our hands on.
そして10億の山分けだけでも私たちには十分すぎるわ。
And even splitting that billion, it'll be more than enough for what we need.
そして今ローザが死んでその分け前はさらに増えたわ。
On top of that, now that Rose is dead, our shares have increased even more.
私たちは5億ずつを持って島から出られる。
We can each leave this island with 500 million.
そういうことよ。
Exactly.
黄金を換金したいなんて欲さえ捨てれば。
As long as we don't let our greedy desire to cash in the gold control us,
この島で起こった全てをなかったことにできる。
we can pretend that everything that occurred on this island never happened.
そういう仕掛けがここにはあるわ。
We have a way to do that right here. By this point, neither deaths from accidental discharges nor shooting murders meant anything on this island. Everything would be erased equally by the explosion accident. No matter what happened between now and midnight the next day, everything would be rewritten.
自首しろですってバカローザ。
And you told me to turn myself in? Stupid Rosa!
3億ポッチじゃ嫌？
You weren't satisfied with just 300 million?
欲の皮を突っ張らせるからよ。
This is what you get for being too greedy. Dead.
自業自得だわ。
You brought this upon yourself.
しかしキリエさん、何も撃つことはなかったやろ。
But Kairi-san, there was no need to shoot her, right?
ローザさんかて話せば分かってくれた話や。
Even Rosa-san would have figured out if you just told her.
撃つ必要はあったのよ。
I did need to shoot her.
だってローザさんだけが銃を撃ってないんだもん。
After all, Rosa-san's the only one who didn't fire her gun.
そら、どういう意味でっか？
What does that matter?
あなたたちの足元に落ちているクラウス兄さんの銃とエヴァ姉さんの銃。
The guns lying at your feet are Kraus Nissan's and Eva Nissan's.
どちらも発砲済みだわ。
Both of those have been fired.
でもローザさんの銃は引き金を引くだけで弾が撃ててしまう。
However, Rosa-san's gun, can shoot if you just pull the trigger.
レバーアクションは慣れないとリロード難しいのよ。
It's hard to reload one of those if you're not if you aren't used to a lever action.
素人じゃなかなかできないわ。
An amateur would have some trouble pulling it off.
綺麗さ。何の話？
Kairi-san, what are you talking about? You... They finally realized what Kairi meant. Rosa had the only gun that could still fire, so I shot her first. Oh, how foolish we were. Why didn't we realize sooner? Even though we knew there's a mechanism for erasing everything that happens on this island. Even Hideyoshi hurried to pick up the guns that lay at their feet. Bang! At the same time, fire spat from Kairi's gun once more. Honestly, my girl stays winning. I put my money on the right lady. Kairi. From the beginning, I was a Kairi fan. Hideyoshi let out a short scream, clutched at his chest, and fell over face down. Dear! Dear! What? Why is this? Eva fiddled with the lever action, trying to imitate something she vaguely remembered from a Western movie. But something seemed to be caught, and the still open lever didn't budge. See? It's pretty hard. You! Kairi finished reloading with a fluid motion. The way she held it was as innocent and pure as a kid playing with a squirt gun. Got him. With another heartless cry of gunfire, the puppet called Eva slumped down on the floor as though its strings had been cut. Rudolph-san. The billion-yen card.
Oh.
Sure. The cash card with a billion yen, which Eva had just grabbed from the witch, that alone was worth more than enough. The 20 billion yen pile of gold had skewed everyone's sense of value. Just a few million yen is enough for people to kill over. And this was a billion yen. Rosa-san. Those were some famous last words there. Just 300 million? You were too greedy. No kidding. Ah, lucky me. I don't have to fish through her corpse. As Rudolph walked up to Eva's body, he found the card lying beside it and picked it up. So, this flimsy little card is worth 1 billion yen. Sticking with the company would be a waste of time. So, do we close up shop and spend the rest of our lives in some southern country? I'm sure you'd get bored right away. Besides, I like seeing you get all worried about some problem, then leap around like a little kid when you finally overcome it. Sure you do. Thank you, Miss Golden Witch. Rudolph-san and I will make good use of this billion. Damn. Kraus-Nissan promised to treat you in a gentlemanly fashion. But I haven't made any such promise. She pulled the trigger without a trace of mercy. When the ringing of the gunfire died down, blood trickled from the witch's mouth, and she fell over onto the bed. Once again, Kyrie ejected the used shell casing. The four metal sounds of used shells hitting the floor seemed to symbolize the fact that Rudolph and his wife now possessed all shares of the gold.
本当に頭の回転の鈍いやつらだわ。
All of them were really slow-witted.
爆弾の仕掛けを聞いたとき、この島から全ての仲良しごっこが消え去ったことに気づけなかったなんて。
From the moment they heard about the bomb, they should have known that they wouldn't be leaving this island as a big, happy family.
悪いな、兄貴、姉貴、ローズ。
Sorry about this, Aniki, Aneki, Rosa.
まあこいつはたまたまの成り行きだ。
Well, that's life for you.
勘弁してくれよな。
Give me a break, okay?
兄貴と姉貴が喧嘩をして、ローザがそれに巻き込まれ。
Aniki and Aneki get into a fight. Rosa gets dragged in.
俺がひょいっと漁夫の利をさらう。
And I'm the one who picks up the pieces.
昔からのお約束じゃねえか。
Just like it's always been, right? It wasn't as though Rudolph and Kyrie had planned to kill everyone, take everything for themselves from the start. Kyrie had quickly realized, by the length of the barrel of the gun in her hands, that it would probably hold 5 rounds at a time. Yes, Kyrie and Rudolph were both very familiar with this gun. Rudolph, whose interest in guns from old westerns came from his father, owned a shotgun of the same model. Even Kyrie had earned the qualifications to use that gun, becoming familiar enough with it that they could go shooting together for fun. Including the witch, there had been 8 people there. 6 people besides the 2 of them. Each gun held 5 rounds. That was 1 short. They didn't have enough to kill everyone.
兄貴たちが取っ組み合いをして暴発が起こった時には正直驚いたぜ。
To be honest, it really surprised me when they got into a fight and one of the guns went off. That coincidental accident had provided the missing bullet. It wasn't the second shot. The very first shot, which had accidentally killed Natsui, had guaranteed that this massacre would happen. In this smoke and corpse-filled room of gold, 2 of them wore easygoing smiles, hardly any different from those they usually wore.
どうする？
What
これから。
do we do now? Rudolph picked up Rose's gun. Then, he fired a test shot at the wall and ejected the old shell with a smooth motion like Kyrie's. Kyrie went to the box of bullets on the table, casually picked up a few, and loaded them one after another into her gun.
爆弾のスイッチをオンに。
Set the bomb switch to on.
そしたらあとは24時間を待つだけよ。
Then, we just need to wait 24 hours.
朝になれば姿が見えないと騒ぎになるぜ。
Everyone's gonna run wild when morning comes and they can't find us.
騒がせなければいい。
Then, we just need to make sure they don't.
そうなるね。
Guess so.
バトルをどうする？
What about Battler?
あなたの子供よ。
He's your son.
私の子供じゃないわ。
Not mine, damn.
そういうこと言うなよ。
Don't say that.
あんなに懐いてたじゃねえか。
Look how attached he is to you.
あいつ、お前のこと尊敬してるんだぜ。
He really respects you.
じゃあ、うまいこと言いくるめる言い訳を考えてね。
Then think of a clever way to trick him.
私はエンジェのことを考える。
I'll worry about Angie.
あなたはバトラ君のことを考える。
You worry about Badlerkin.
公平でしょ？
Fair enough?
うん。
Hmm.
ああ。
Sure.
私、自分の子供には優しいけれど、
I'm kind to my own children.
アスムさんの子供にまで優しくするの、結構大変なの。
But it's a real pain to be nice to Asumu-san's kid.
わかってるでしょ？
You understand, I hope. Kyrie's voice had grown cold. She had acted warmly towards Battler because that had been the adult thing to do. He was Rudolph's son, so she tried to avoid being hostile, nothing more. But underneath, he was the son of Asumu, a woman Kyrie still hated even though she was dead. Now that she had given birth to Angie and finally built up a new family, was Battler's return really such a happy thing for her?
腹をくくって、
Get yourself ready.
ここまで来たら。
Now that we've come this far,
10億をつかむか死ぬかだけよ。
We can only go for the billion yen or die trying.
バトラ君が納得しなかったら悪いけれどそれまでよ。
If you can't convince Battler-kun, I'm sorry, but I won't be taking any chances.
脅かすなよ。
No need to threaten me.
任せろって。
I'll take care of it.
うまいこと丸め込んでやるから。
I'll find a good story to tell him.
せいぜいしっかりね。
Make sure you do.
バトラ君が事故で亡くなったと聞いたらきっとエンジェも悲しむわ。
I know Angie will be very sad if she's forced to hear about Battler-kun dying in an accident.
おう。
Sure.
手始めにどうする？
How do we start?
朝を待って得になることはないわ。
We have nothing to gain by waiting for morning.
今が最適よ。
Now is the best time.
やれや
Ah, wonderful.
れ。一服する暇もなしかよ。
Not even time for a break. Kabang, bang, 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 bang. No telephone, no ringing.
テスト？
No, Battler. No, none of this. We're gonna call it a night there. This is where we'll end. When I asked who did I think was the most ruthless. Yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking about how you had asked that. Oh, so conveniently. Such a conveniently placed question. I guess we might have potentially found the answer. The answer without a shadow of a doubt. Hey, here's the thing. Yes, Kairi, bad things she's doing right now. Also, sucks to reveal that she, was only putting on a face and doesn't give a shit about Battler. But honestly, I'm not wrong when I say this. She's doing this, and I'm going like, instead of me being like, oh, Kairi, how could you? I'm like, yeah, Kairi, you girl boss, gatekeep, gaslight me, go, kill those people. Yeah, Kairi, slay. Yeah, go, Kairi, yeah. That's me. That was me the whole time I was reading that section. I was like, do it. So I'm part of the problem too, I guess. Hey, here's the thing. When you've got a fave in any kind of, piece of media, you're willing to defend any of their actions any way possible. You know what I mean? So I have no choice. What do they say? I have no choice but to stand Kairi killing people. Literally willing to kill everyone else on this island. Because of greed. Okay, so we will have to end it tonight. I guess we'll continue this. I'll be honest, didn't think this Tea Party thing would go this long. I thought we were going to finish tonight, but maybe I should have known it was going to be a super long thing. So the plan is I'm probably not going to do tomorrow. I think tomorrow immediately would be a bit of overkill. So I'm leaning towards Thursday or Friday. And I'm going to say me personally, if I had to pick one, I would probably say leaning on Friday is my most preferred. It'd be easier. Technically, Thursday is the actual holiday day. It's not like I'm actually probably going to be doing much on that day. But also, I just think it would be easier for me to kind of do that and then kind of justify, like, Friday. So, most likely will be Friday. And then, as if we can't get enough Umineko, then we'll continue. So we'll finish, in theory, Friday, this shit. And then Saturday, we begin into, finally, episode 8. That's the plan. That's the idea. If something changes, of course, I will try to update as best as possible. But I'm leaning towards it's Thursday or Friday finishing this. Most likely Friday, just because of scheduling wise, be a little easy, a bit easier, for reasons. So, yeah, that's the plan. What questions do we have to roll into Friday? Will Kyrie and Rudolph pull this off? What'll happen to the kids here? Why are Leon and Angie having to watch this? And what will they do? Will they be able to impact anything? Are they just helpless watchers? Who put them in the theater? Hopefully all of that answered next time. Next Umineko stream. Tomorrow? Wait, what's this? I don't think Kraus is the least ruthless of everyone. Let's see. The most soft per se. I think without thinking too hard about it, I'd probably have to agree. He was kind of just brought along with I mean, he's the guy who genuinely through weird messed up rules probably had the right to the next head of the household situation kind of thing. And he never did anything that, I mean, not saying he never did anything bad, but he was definitely behind the scene. He was up in front as far as Natsui was about being as manipulative as possible, I think. If that makes any sense. He did the embezzlement thing. Yeah, but I mean, who in their life hasn't done a little bit of embezzling, you know? Who in their life, who hasn't done a little bit of embezzling here and there? But yeah, I agree. Not as bad as the others. Agreed. Exactly. That's what I was saying. I was saying, like, yeah, he was kind of more just he was a part of it because Natsui was conducting that whole thing, in my eyes. For sure. For sure. So yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out, as always. I'm gonna part ways. Tomorrow night, most likely. I say this half jokingly, but also I mean it. I hope we can finish Thirsty Suitors. That's the plan for tomorrow night. So, fingers crossed that doesn't continue to be a million more hours. But I don't think it will be. I think we'll be able to finish. So, that's the plan. And then we'll see what happens Thursday, Friday. Until then, have a nice rest of your night. Have a great Wednesday. And see you in another stream.